I have a new Palo Santo. Palo Santos, I think that's what it is. Ooh, it's like good too. It lit immediately. Mm. Santos tonight. Sure is. Before we get started, I rebuke all spells, rituals, and or castings that are not of the highest frequencies of source love consciousness that may have been projected my way on all timelines, dimensions, and planes, consciously, unconsciously, or subconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly. Anything and everything I'm connected to energetically, physically, emotionally, and etherically shall be protected. All will be transmuted into love and sent back to its source. I am sovereign and free. All agreements I may have agreed to on lower paradigms of existence of consciousness shall be cut, ended on all timelines, dimensions, and planes, consciously, unconsciously, and or subconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly. I am sovereign. I am sovereign. I am sovereign. It is done, and so it is. Oh, I say thank you, Jesus. That right there. Well, since it's just me still.
I don't even rock with edibles like that. I mean, if I take an edible, I'm just going to sleep for 20 minutes. But Lord, she is fighting demons right now. Get it out, sister. Get it out.
The bitch talk her talk. You know, like, everybody should hype themselves the fuck up. Because, bitch, if you ask me, I'm the baddest bitch in this motherfucking world. If you ask me about my ethnicity, the Black Americans, the ADOS, the FBAs, the freedmen, the who the fuck that bitch?
Okay, talk that shit. That's right. Talk that shit.
The what the fuck? Because, bitch, if you ask me, I'm the baddest bitch in this motherfucking world. If you ask me about my ethnicity, the Black Americans, the ADOS, the FBAs, the freedmen, the who the fuck ever, bitch, the what the fuck ever you call us, you know who the fuck I'm talking about, bitch. If you ask me about my ethnicity, I'm telling you, we the baddest of the bad, bitch. We really that motherfucking bitch, okay? So I'm not mad at nobody hyping themselves up. I'm not mad at Nigeria.
Gather round, Tethers. Gather round, Tethers. Gather round now. Gather round. When the Black American woman says, I'm really that bitch, that's actually a term of self-gratification and endearment. On the surface level, you would think she's using a derogatory slur towards her own self. But actually, when she says, I'm that bitch...
Oh, good day, family. I was listening to bro. Goes on 24 hours. Yeah. And you put it on there and it just, I guess it just lined up like that and stuff. So I just had that on in the background and stuff. But it's good to see you. It is good to see you. I wanted to come on so we can go ahead and finish this last chapter about white folks, white women, namely. And then we can go ahead and, get into our next reading on this channel right here. I still feel some type of way about it, but it is what it is. I just got to go on it, do what I got to do and stuff. So it's good to see y'all. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. We going to get started. I'm going to go on and do the fundamentals. I'm going to go on and get them out the way. I don't know where you went, but when you come back, if you come back, I should be ready. And if you don't, with whoever come back, I'll be had this out the way and stuff. Because, it do take me a minute to go through all of this to warm up my engine. It do. But I guess once I get started and stuff, then I have quite a bit to say to my people. I'm making up for 43 years of saying nothing. I am Face the Nation. This is Bolden Unchained. We are, well, I guess I better wait here, but at least wait to one person. So I'm going to put brother back on. Until somebody comes and look at White Jesus. Did y'all see White Jesus? Oh yeah, Mike, when I see you, I'll let you know I finally subscribed. Yeah, to the Native Ancestry channel, because I need to find out about my grandmother, my great-grandmother. Native Black Ancestry. I subscribe to it. It's only $9.99 a month. Y'all, when you come in and stuff, I'm going to remind you.
For the video, I'm actually going to teach you how to speak. This is part 2. The first phrase is, what it do. What it do. That's how you would say it. The emotion of anger. I'm going to give you a couple of phrases that conveys the emotion of anger. Sweet. That's all you is, boy. You sweet. You sweet, boy. What's good? Now in hood, the pronunciation will be good. But then if I say, bro, you tripping, dog, my tone and my voice completely brings out a different kind of meaning for this specific phrase. Now you was tripping, dog. You tripping, dog.
Oh, Native Black Ancestry.
Yeah, boy.
I subscribe tonight. Native Black Ancestry.com. Well, when y'all ready to do the research. This right here, I can pause this because this running 24 hours a day. That is awesome. I mean, it's running 24 hours a day. No matter you go to it and come back, it's still going on. His channel, Mike TV, it's still going on and stuff. I went ahead and I subscribed to his channel and stuff because I want to know about my great grandmother and my grandfather. I want to know because I didn't ask these questions and stuff when I was a young girl, like Nora Lee Hurston. I think that's her name and stuff. When she was asking all the elders and stuff, she's awesome, y'all. We read about her in one of the books and stuff. I didn't do that, so I don't know any of my family's history and stuff. I don't know anything. Nope. And then I left when I was 16. I left my mother when I was 16, so I didn't get to ask nobody nothing and stuff. Just let everybody down and stuff. But that's all right, because I'm making up for it now. Oh, yeah. Face is making up for it now. And I'm good with that. I am good with that because I'm here and I'm willing. I'm not fighting against it no more. I'm not fighting against my people no more. Somebody need to help us. And if it's going to be me, it's going to be me. I'm helping us too. Yep, I don't want to be on the other side. I don't want to be part of the problem, our problem again. No, I'm going to tell us exactly what's going on, how it is. I sure am. And I just thank y'all for being here and stuff. Yep, I thank you for being here. Let me cover this up and give out some shout outs and stuff because, all this anxiety and stuff, whatever you call it, nervousness and stuff, how it take time to get used to stuff. And then again, it could be because I know we're going to be reading some shit about white folks, and I just be feeling different types of ways and stuff, about this. But it's still new. I get used to it and get acclimated, to how to receive this and be more calm and stuff, So, yeah, I'm just going to practice that, being more calm. And then, when you are calm, your brain releases Valium. You ain't even got to go get no damn prescription. Just sit there and keep telling yourself that you calm. Just calm yourself down. Put on you some lofi beats. I think that's what my daughter sent me, some music and stuff. It's calm. And and do your breathing and stuff, and it's quiet and stuff, and just keep telling yourself, I'm calm. I'm so calm. I am calm. And your brain will start releasing Valium to you. Yeah, what it do, I don't know, because I ain't never took Valium. I ain't never needed it. But whatever it do, it calm you down, I guess. Mellow you out. Your brain, you a walking pharmacy. That's what brother said. Brother Yaki, I think that's who I got that from, said you're a walking pharmacy. When you feeling and thinking to yourself that you brave, your body releases interleukin, interleukin, interleukin. Yep. Let's give us some shouts out tonight. Yeah, you're a walking pharmacy. Hi, Calvin. It's so good to see you. I know I ain't seen you in a few days and stuff, but I'll maximize in a minute. Because, yeah, it just be a lot, and I ain't really all this, yeah. Yeah, I just take it as it comes and stuff, hell, it's too late to be a faceless channel now. It is. It's a little too late to be a faceless channel now. So, yeah, I'm just going to have to go on and deal with it. Shit. But, yeah, people, we really don't want to just be out here. Folks is fucking crazy. Out here and stuff. And then especially when you talking about black people and stuff, people don't want to hear about it. They automatic. I don't like you no more. You lose friends, families, and stuff when you're talking about black people. So, I don't know. That's just how it is and stuff, So anybody that don't want to be my friend no more, okay, fine with me. Because I can be by myself. I prefer to be by myself anyway. I do. I ain't got but 2 friends. And we don't even hardly see each other that much. But that's all I need. And then, your family and stuff, you can tell when they tired of you because soon as you knock on the door. Come in. I mean, so yeah, if this right here is what it is, then that's what it is. Because, honey, ain't nobody washing my dishes anyway. I'm washing everybody else's dishes. I go around and help. When I go around, I don't care if it's braiding that baby hair. Yeah, I go around, I'm going to do something while I'm there. So, if this right here causes me to lose ties and bonds and stuff, then we just need to go separate ways for a while. Yeah, that's fine with me. Shit, it's petty. Yeah. Oh, what? When face is wearing the color orange, shit is about to get fucking serious. I'm just saying, I don't know in your loving arms, but this is red. Yep. Except your dumb ass might need a little Valium for this reading. Therapist. I don't know. What? Who you talking to? But yeah, watch yourself though. I'm just saying. Now, you can't be coming at folks and stuff like that. And I know you ain't coming at me. On here and stuff. But yeah, let's just read and stuff. I'm gonna get the fundamentals out the way and stuff because I don't want to be. Yeah. Yeah, but it's good to see y'all, And I knew I was going to come on because we ain't got but 1 chapter left. So, hell, ain't no need in procrastinating like I'll do. And because I will stagnate and it'll take me at least 2 or 3 days to read the damn 20 pages that's left in this book right here. Because the next book after this, it ain't really going to be no joke. I'm really contemplating if we even going to read that book. I don't know. You gonna let me know, I suppose. But yeah, I'm Face the Nation. We on Bolden Unchained, and we are here. I am here to assist Black America and Black media. I hope that's why you here. If it ain't, then you in the wrong place. You wasting your time, and you probably gonna get cussed out. If you in the wrong place, I'm just saying, let's save you some time from being here. If you ain't here to help Black America, if you ain't here to see what the hell, who done hurt Black America, then yeah, you definitely in the wrong place. Because that's why I'm here. That's the only reason why I'm here. To see who the fuck done hurt Black America. Why we can't get along. Why am I saying that? Yeah, I've been asleep for 43 years and stuff, And no, I didn't reach that educational pinnacle. But that's all right. That's all right, because the motherfuckers that did, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, that did reach that educational pinnacle ain't used it for us. They ain't used it for us. They ass used it to get up there and sit down and sign everything that came across that desk. So, I ain't too fucked up about it no more and stuff. The education part, I do still, I won't shy away from the opportunities to let my teachers know. I know y'all motherfucking asses. You did that shit on purpose. They probably, I don't know where they at now. But I ain't even going to ask the ancestors to put them in my path. Because they about old now. They old now, and I don't want to hurt nobody like that and stuff if it's uncalled for and stuff. But they know what they did. That's enough. They know what they did. If they ever see this video, they'll know who I'm talking about. I ain't even got to call no names and stuff, Linda. I don't. I'm just saying. But yeah, all of that and stuff. So I didn't reach that educational pinnacle, y'all. No, I did not. I didn't reach that financial pinnacle either. No, because if I had y'all would have been knowing this shit. You would have been knowing it. So, all of y'all that did reach it, my jingers, I do appreciate y'all. So y'all can just sit back and wait till I do this. And then, yeah, because y'all pretty much ain't in this and stuff. If y'all my jingers and I'm learning from y'all, then you doing what you supposed to be doing. You reaching and teaching each one that come across your path. Some stuff might not even resonate with some of us until hours and days later. But I know you doing your part to be part of the solution and not the problem. So this right here ain't to you. It's to other folks and stuff. I be talking to other folks a lot, folks like me that didn't have that educational pinnacle, that financial pinnacle. And we don't have, people like you that I come across. I guess, hell, I'm just particular. I know who I love and who I resonate with, and that's my ancestors. That's how I came across you. But other people like me and stuff, see, they don't think about our ancestors. They don't resonate about our ancestors and our history. So it's gonna be hard for them to come across this information. That's who I'm talking to. I need them to know. Start thinking for themselves. And you too, if you plan on going to heaven. I'm just saying that's there for everybody. That is. I don't know what to tell you. Talk to your pastor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just got one chapter left. We just got one chapter left and we will be done with this book. And this is like our sixth book, I think. It was Red Summer. I didn't know about Red Summer. No, that's our book though. Red Summer is our Bible. I know y'all got y'all respected Bibles. I know you got your respective Bibles, and that's fine. This late in the game, you can keep it. But you got two arms. You keep that Bible under one arm, and you keep this one under the other one. Because black people, we got a Bible too. That Jesus that you crying over and stuff, it said he had blonde hair, bronze skin, and hair like mine. That's what it's. I ain't never read the Bible. Don't feel sorry for me, shit. Feel sorry for you. But, so it did say he's black. It did. But see, the mental manipulation on you is you see white, you think white. When somebody say Jesus, I tell you to close your eyes and I say Jesus. You're going to start seeing that white man if your mind is still in that indoctrination. You got to be very focused to know and remember and to just keep black Jesus at the forefront of your mind's eye. And we can't do that. We are traumatized people. We know the book say that he a black man, but the pictures, everywhere we look, we see the pictures. We done even similarize the white man with Jesus. So even that in itself, I know your ass ain't seeing black Jesus when somebody say Jesus Christ. You a damn lie. When we sit here collectively and we see and recognize the white men, the white race as being godly, innocent, pure, heaven is for them. They created it and we just get to go there and stuff. But I'm telling you now, you better think different. You better question if you really want to go to heaven with white folks. Yeah, it's a whole lot of of thoughts and knowledge, just questions that you got to ask yourself. You might need to ask your pastor. I don't know. Probably just direct his ass to Dr. Ray Hagins. I'm just saying. Somebody, Dr. Ray Hagins ain't the only one, because I done started listening to Pastor Stephen Darby. He passed away, but I done found his videos and he's telling the truth too. However, I ain't found nobody yet that's done told us we better think twice about going to heaven. I don't know if that's because, that's gonna finally let us know that everybody and their mama and first ladies been lying to y'all. Cause see, I got out of church as soon as I could. Yeah, they didn't want me in church no more. And that was fine with me because I didn't want to be there. But y'all been going to church all this time stuff and ain't nobody even told you, because the Bible make us forget and forgive. That's all it do. Dr. Ray Hagins said it's a paralysis it paralyzes your analysis. You can't even think. Your damn mind is paralyzed. Yep. And so that's because of that. I'm not in that. I don't believe in that shit. No, honey, if you can believe that Jesus Christ was hanging on that cross and stuff, and he went through all that, and that he walking across the sun is he walking across water or however it is, and then the man was in the well for 3 days, and somebody was in a furnace walking around, but they didn't get burnt up and stuff, then your ass can believe Simeon Toko coming back and he gonna kick all y'all asses for even allowing the white man to make him into somebody white. And let him put him up on all the churches. Yep, that's what y'all did. All the books that you see that they done wrote. Jesus white. Stop lying. That man white with blonde hair and blue eyes, and that's what everybody see. Right here in America, that's all I see. Yep, that's all I see. So, yep, you should be able to believe that. You should be able to believe that if somebody coming back here, now I don't know if it's going to be Simeon Toko. I don't know if it's going to be your Jesus either. Now, I don't know. Don't nobody know. I think he's kind of late if he is. But I just want to say, if anybody coming back, it's about this. And I don't think that's going to be the white Jesus. I don't think white Jesus. This is our Jesus right here. Matter of fact, that's why this who coming back. That's black Jesus right there. You got one white man in this book. You crying. I heard about you on Passion of the Christ at the movie theater. Black women, y'all ass falling out, faint, throwing up on Passion of the Christ. Honey, you got hundreds, thousands of Jesuses right here. Lynched for real. Lynched for real. If they wasn't if they wasn't burned and roasted to death, you could even go find their graves. A lot of them you can't even find. Wasn't nothing left. It wasn't nothing left. That's your Jesus. You got to wake your ass up. Yeah, I don't want to get hot and stuff because, menopause, premenopause, or whatever they call it, and get the coughing and gagging up in here trying to tell y'all asses it's time to wake up. Yeah, I don't know when you going to hear the sound and stuff, the trumpet, but your ass better hear something right now because you in a new awakening, Black America. This was your first awakening, and you kept your ass around white America, and this was after slavery. I didn't even know. I forgave everything. I'm not religious. No, I'm not religious. I'm all spiritual. I don't forgive nothing. I take back the forgiveness that I gave for slavery. When I did find out about Tulsa, when Trayvon Martin was killed and he was murdered, I didn't find out about the deafness of Tulsa because I would have knew about Greenwood and Rosewood and Wilmington and the draft riots and all of them, but I didn't know about none of them things and stuff, but I forgave Tulsa. I forgave Emmett Till. I think a lot of us did. But once I sat down here and started reading, honey, I don't forgive nothing no more. And I advise you to reconsider because it ain't for you to forgive them for you. How the hell is that going to work? Oh, it's just forgiving them. It ain't for them. It's for me. Yeah, so your ass can forget. Just forgive and forget anything, everything that meant something to you, Black America. That's what it did. That's what it did to you. I know I said I came on saying I was going to get the fundamentals out the way, and I am. Yeah, I'm going to do it right now. Matter of fact, I am Face the Nation. We on Bolden Unchained. We here to assist Black America and Black media. Because, see, we don't know about Black media, but your ass know now. When you see this, that's where you need to be. Your ass need to turn off Andy Griffith, Hell's Kitchen, your reality shows and stuff. I like to look at disaster movies and sci-fi, little stuff like that and stuff. I don't even want to look at that no more. You can't. You cannot. If you do, maybe one or two. You can't get trapped in it hours and hours and hours because we got work to do. But that old bullshit, you ought to be ready to look at something other than, what is it? Andy Griffith, the Waltons, and shit like that. It don't make no sense. I seen a video about 2 months ago. I think it was George Fraser. And he said that we watched like 10, 11 hours of TV a day. We the only ones that do that. Don't nobody else set their ass around and just watch motherfucking TV and then you ain't even watching nothing. Your ass ain't watching Bloomberg. At least watch sci-fi so your ass can get some ideas. Damn, this look like what might be happening now. But now your ass over there watching Andy Griffith, Bewitched, Janie. You ain't even watching Bounce. I'm just saying, we got to get out of that. We've been so distracted and stuff. We got to pick up these books. We got to get our books. You know, yeah, I know. And then when you ain't into that bullshit, you into religion. You into your Bible and stuff. Ain't even thinking about your people. Ain't even thinking about what's going on in the world. What does this mean for you, Black America? What? All of this that's going on. Everybody telling you, but your ass want to keep going to MSNBC. They ain't even told your motherfucking ass that hell any day now. They finna have robots out on the street. Robot dogs, humanoid robots, robots that look like people. Because you know they were paying people like $20,000. They were paying people money to make humanoid robots of them, to use their face and their voice. Yep. It's crazy. It's gonna be motherfucking crazy out here and shit. You ain't gonna know who's who. You better not go nowhere with Keisha. Oh, I'll meet you down at the new club at 11 o'clock tonight. No, you better not. You keep your ass at home because you don't know who's who. You ain't, when your dogs literally stand up and tell your ass, Black America, your dogs, Rufus, gonna stand up and tell y'all asses, Black America, how you miss everything that white folks been telling you and showing you. How you miss everything that white people been doing to you. Oh, my ancestors. I saw a video. Sister shared it. Jamar Clark's sister shared it. And the officer went up on, looked like some teenagers, y'all. And they were just enjoying themselves during the summer. It looked like they might have been at the park or at a swimming pool or something. But anyway, the man with his dog, the officer with his dog, he walked up to the teenager boy, the black boy, the young teenager. He probably about 16, maybe 17. I don't know. They were young. He grabbed the young man and threw him down. The dog attacked the officer. Even the dogs is saying, hey, hold up now. Y'all doing too much. It's time for us to stand up for ourselves. It's time for us to stand up to our people. Them motherfuckers should have been out of our communities. You had plenty of chances. We got people out there in position and stuff. Should have been told us, yeah, this is what we here to do. We here to get us. Ain't that what the Panthers wanted us to do? Patrol our own communities? Ain't nothing changed. Ain't a damn thing changed. And yet, white America, everybody still wants you to bring your ass out there again. For what? For I'm just saying, you know, it don't make no sense to me. All of this right here on earth, and then you plan on going to heaven after earth, life and afterlife, trapped with white folks. It don't make no sense to me. I'm just here to let Black people know, hey, everybody been lying to your ass. Everybody been lying to you. But I'm not going to lie to you. It took me too damn long to get here and tell us what we need to know. Yeah, let me see who else that came in here because I can maximize that right there. Because after I get going and stuff, the ancestors just told me I only need 2 people anyway. I think they meant 2 of y'all. I just set my ass right here and wait for 2 of y'all. But church say, as long as you got 2 people, you got church. So that's why I was like, shit, as long as I get 1 person, hey, it's me and you, let's do this. For shit, I'll be like, shit, I'm sleepy, I'm tired. I do. This is a lot. Hey, Map Jar, I know, right? Stevie Wonder. I don't know that song. You will know, but I'm going to look it up. Oh, yes, I do. Nah, I don't know. I'll have to look it up and stuff. But, yeah, it's so good to see you, though. Map Jar, I'm on shrooms. I'm not quite sure how I got here, but I'm out. A bit too much for my current state of mind. We'll come back, though, probably, I think. Just a little freaked out at the moment. I know that's right, honey. Yeah, I'll see you another time and stuff, because it is a lot. I ain't for everybody. But thank you for stopping through. I don't know how folks is finding their way here, but shit, you can definitely find your way out and there won't be no problem and stuff because, I'm here for one reason and one reason only, and that's the ancestors. And shit, I'm like, whoa, this is kind of, the internet is kind of like the multiverse, I think. Yeah. Whoa. Ain't no editing here. I don't edit nothing because I don't know how. And this is it. This is like round 3 on whatever's finna happen, Black America. This is like round 3. I feel like if I got to learn to edit this and stuff, it's gonna take more time for me to find out what the fuck is wrong with us and why we can't come together and let us know. That's my only reason for being here. Because I know my people, somebody said if you see a need, you gotta feel it. And I feel like, my people don't know what's wrong with us. Everybody keep asking, why y'all can't come together? Why Black America can't come together? Because, hell, white folks done traumatized us. That's why we can't come together. So, I'm just going to try to tell it to us like we need to know it. But we got to see why. We got to get to the roots of it. That's what I think it is. Shit, I know you're going to know it's like Black people like that because they got away from God. And all these other excuses until the Black man ain't in the home. But why is that? I want to get to the root of the problem. Shit, don't be bringing me all these branches now that your ass done cut off this tree. Talking about that's the reason why. No, I want to get to the root of the problem. What's wrong with my people? And yeah, I do get into it. But hell, that's me. Shit, y'all gonna get into it too when you let yourself be. And you be loyal to yourself. And you be loyal to your ancestors. Yeah, just be yourself. Hell, quit trying to act like white folks, all docile and timid and stoic and shit. I don't know. Maybe y'all are like that. I don't know. This is just me, But yeah, this right here is your Bible from the white man. And this right here is our Bible, Black America. This right here is our Jesus. This is Willie Brown. Yeah, Willie Brown in September 28, 1919 in the Omaha riot. I didn't know about all them riots, them massacres. I feel so motherfucking betrayed sometimes and stuff. I'm processing it though. I feel so fucking betrayed and stuff, all of this shit. And ain't nobody told us, ain't nobody taught us. We ain't made sure we get the lessons and the messages. We didn't keep nobody's memories alive and stuff. Ain't nobody naming their baby after nobody no more. Naming our baby all kind of other shit. We putting together all other kind of words and names and stuff. And we forgetting about our own ancestors. Making white folks look like they done redeemed themselves. And the white man still out here hanging Black men and shit. And the white woman acting like she just the first lady, the saint mother of all mothers, I guess. I don't know what the fuck they trying to portray. Ooh, want to be the first family? Yeah, they want to be the first family, but they fucking toxic and been terrorizing us and torturing us and stuff. And they done projected all of this that they've done, that they are. This is white folks' nature. This is white folks' culture. And they done projected it on you, Black man. And Black woman too say, we just a bitter Black woman. But honey, I ain't bitter. I'm not motherfucking bitter. I am goddamn it betrayed. I feel, yeah. I'm processing it though. I'm processing how I feel about it. But it's a lot. We finna read 100 years of lynching. 100 years of lynching. For real. For real. We read one or two in it. I read one, Sam Hope. I read about Sam Hope. We're going to read it again and stuff because I just skimmed through it. But it's a lot. Why we don't know these things here in this life. And then you expect me to go and spend the rest of my forevermore, my eternity with these same people. Where the fuck is the justice for black people? It ain't here. But when you get to heaven and stuff, your Bible said you going to heaven, and black people, that's all y'all asses care about is taking your ass to heaven. You ain't asked no questions. You ain't asked who gonna be there. You ain't even asked, why is it a gate in heaven? You ain't asked a damn thing. Why is it a gate in heaven? And who behind the gate? Where the back gate at then? You're just one way in and one way out. You ain't asked nothing. But you done read the whole Bible from the front to the back. Something got to change. Something got to change. But yeah, I get off and stuff. I get it. Just get the rambling and stuff. But yeah, I am Facing Nation. We on Bolden Unchained. Let's try this one more time. And we here to assist Black America and black media. And yeah, I am. We're going to uncover and condemn all the projects, operations, laws, codes, acts, memorandums, courses, studies. It's so many of them, y'all. They got memorandums. They got plans like the King Alfred plans against us. We had no idea. We didn't know. I didn't. I did not know they had all of that against us. But it's a lot. So we're going to uncover and condemn all of that as we go through. I really want to know what's wrong with my people. And it's looking to me like it ain't nothing but white America terrorizing us. And then other folks that got in on it too, But I don't know about them and stuff. It'll be exposed. I just know we starting right here. I didn't start in slavery because, hell, I'm the last one pretty much to the fight. I'm just finna bring those like myself that ain't got that education and that financial, success like y'all got and ain't even using it for us like y'all supposed to. So, I'm just here to get those like myself to see and understand that, hey, y'all ass is in danger. You've been fooled and lied to, but don't be no fool and no dummy. That's all I want for my people. Don't be no fool and a dummy. How many groups of people in this world, even in this country for sure, know about all of this? But your ass don't know a damn thing. They know about all of our greatness. Your ass don't know a motherfucking thing. Black America don't know nothing. But what white folks done told you and taught you and made you feel like it's okay to learn this. What that book say last night? Long as you stay working on individual merit and individual goals and stuff, it's okay. But once you start doing things for the collective, that's a no-no. It's fucked up how we've been treated. I don't like that shit. I'm not gonna go forward in my life acting like, oh, everything is okay. I thought everything was okay. I thought I was just fucking up. Hell, I didn't know. Oh, no. Neely Fuller said it's a whole system. So now I'm like, oh, hell, I didn't just fuck up. No. My people didn't just fuck up. We was fucked over. We were. I don't know. I don't want y'all to feel like, I'm here to I don't know, and exacerbate you, make you angry and violent and stuff like that, because I'm not a violent person. I just want us to learn, know, and process this information so we can be better here. We can better our lives here on earth. And then in the afterlife, when you leave earth and stuff, honey, you'll know where you got to go. You at least start asking some questions. That's all I want. I love you to life and afterlife. All that I love you to death and shit. Fuck that bullshit. I love your ass, Black America, to life and afterlife. Fuck white folks. Fuck the dumb shit. Heaven too. You get your ass in heaven, you're going to be behind them gates. They going to clip your wings soon as you step up there. Talking about Jesus the only way. Sure wills. Sure wills. And when he take you right up there to God, his daddy, the Father in heaven, and they clip your damn wings, your ass going to be trapped behind them pearly white gates until you got to come out and pick all that cotton out there. Yep, that's what it is, y'all. That's really the bottom line and stuff. And the only reason you here on earth is to have black babies and to heal black people. That's it and that's all. All this other bullshit, just a waste of our time. Just a waste of our time. So, yeah, we here to condemn and everything. Yep, every motherfucking thing to see what's wrong with black people because we still got to do it. We still got to do it. You still got to have black babies and you still got to heal black people. I don't care if you want to or not. You either going to do it by choice or by force. Black America, it is what it is. You know, I want us to understand why and how. Make it a little easier for us. We just need to learn these things. And then it won't be a challenge. I'm going to love who I'm going to love anyway and stuff. Don't be a fool and a dummy. I'm just saying, you know, it's something bigger than that. We bigger than that. We just here for them two reasons. To heal our people and have black babies. Who else gonna have black babies? Don't y'all want to have black babies? Don't you want black people to live on? Who else gonna have black babies? Don't nobody want to. Well, they do now since they realize, you know, all the greatness that's in black people and stuff. But yeah, don't nobody want to have black babies and stuff. That's our duty. That's what we supposed to do. And y'all, yeah, so I'm not religious. I am spiritual, all spiritual. I thought I was religious too, but I'm not. I ain't religious. I probably never was. You know, I just believed and had faith because my mama, my grandmama, my great aunts, and my great uncles, everybody did. You know, so I did too, but I'm not religious. No, I'm spiritual. And I ain't got to forgive if I don't want to. And Dr. Frances Cress Wilson said, I ain't got to forgive if I don't want to. She actually said, you're a damn fool to keep forgiving your oppressor like this. That's what she said. And I believe her. So, yeah, we look at through a spiritual lens of loyalty, resilience, and education. Because we need to know who the hell we loyal to while we here. Who you loyal to? Because it seems to me like Black America, you ain't been loyal to nobody but the white man, white Jesus, white God. Yeah, that's it. That's where your loyalty lies. At one time, it didn't know you had loyalty for yourself. But, yeah, that was a long time ago. So, yeah, we look through a spiritual lens of loyalty. We look through a spiritual lens of resilience. Who else? Right here in America. We talking about America. The book we finished, we did Red Summer, the summer of 1919, and the Awakening of Black America. This is our book in our personal library. Then we read Racial Violence in Kentucky, 1865 to 1940. Then we read Racial Violence in the United States. And then after that, it was lynchings in Duluth. Then it was They Were Her Property. And then we're going to read that one right there. But all of these are Bibles. They all are Bibles. I forgot what I was saying. But let me get the copyright disclaimer out the way because, yeah, I just want to read this last chapter and get it out the way. I can't say we're going to start 100 years of lynching. Maybe we'll do the introduction and stuff. And, you know, I do need to read the back of it and stuff, get better at this so we can at least know what's going to be inside of these books and stuff. Instead of just opening up, reading it, you know, like I be tempted to do. And then we look into a spiritual lens of education because I didn't know these things. I'm just learning these things myself, you know, and I hope you are too. And if you're not, then that's fine. Tell us what you know, wherever you live at, what's done happened, where you live at. I mean, 100 years of lynching, is it any place in this country right here that ain't been bloody? I'm just asking. I didn't know about all of this and stuff, all of these Bibles, and y'all hanging on to this Bible right here like that's all it is. Ooh, we don't be a fool and a dummy. Yeah, the copyright disclaimer under 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use, whatever the hell that is. Fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I don't know how long we're going to have to read this. I say it every time and stuff. But if you hear about it, you be sure and let me know. I ain't even going to memorize it now because the way things going, shit just being taken back and reneged and stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to keep on doing it till we ain't got to do it no more. It's going to be some updates to it and stuff. And then what about before 1976 or after? Was it more than one of these? See, it's a whole lot. I didn't even know we had to do this. I probably would have been blocked my channel if I didn't, but I seen it on someone else's channel. They mentioned it and stuff, and I was like, oh, so I wrote it down. But yeah, we're here to help Black America. That's the only reason why I'm here. I know it's a lot. I know I'm quite, a lot to handle and stuff and to take on. I probably talk too fast for you and stuff, and that's all right. I'd be excited too, shit. Hell, like, who is this? What is this? What happened? Hell, you know what happened to Black America. I think everybody knew but me. I think everybody knew but me, but I know that's not true. I know that is not true. It's got to be some more of us out here that didn't know these things. And when we find out, we're going to step up to the plate and do what we need to do for Black people and stuff. Because we out here and stuff, we still don't even know how to nurture Black kids. We supposed to be nurturers to Black kids now. We still can't nurture Black kids and stuff because we so traumatized from what white America done did to us and stuff. They should be so ashamed of themselves. They should be telling us themselves, Black people, y'all just stay away from us. What was that movie when the man get ready to change and stuff? Hell, it might have been Michael Jackson video when him and the girl was at the movies and he was getting ready to change to the werewolf and he was telling her, get away from me now. Save yourself. White folks should have been telling us this a long fucking time ago. Black people, we love y'all. We love being around y'all and stuff, but the way we are towards y'all, get away from us. They so fucking selfish and shit. But that's all right, because I'm going to tell us and I'm going to show us why we got to get the fuck away from them too. It's they sons out here doing all of this shit to us. Hell, then they got their asses out there too. Shit, white women ain't just sitting on the sidelines now like we thought they asses was. Oh no, honey. A most unprecedented robbery. The theft of melanin. Sure was unprecedented. The theft of melanin. And they ass just upset because they can't get it. Oh, we still got a little bit to read. It's one more chapter. Then it says epilogue. Lost kindred, lost cause. Okay, well, we're going to read that a little bit too and see what that is. But let's read, yeah. And this right here, y'all, is they were her property. White women as slave owners in the American South. Stephanie E. Jones Rogers. And see, we thought that white women were just standing on the side and stuff. I thought that white women during slavery was so fragile. That's how I always seem they so fragile and like a piece of paper. You poke your finger through it, it'll go right through it and stuff. But no, honey, white women were just as ruthless and brutal to the slaves and stuff more than the masters was. The white women was the ones that had all the slaves. Yeah, it was white women. When they would be like 3 years old, 3 months old, 3 weeks old, they ass were getting slaves as babies. It said it right here in the book. It said it right here in the book. Little white girl, soon they turned 3 weeks old. Oh, she 3 months now. We're going to give her a little slave. Them your sinners right there. Since they want to teach you that your babies is sinners. Ain't that what your Bible teach you? Everybody born as sinners. No, we ain't. That's white folks might be born as sinners. Black babies ain't born as sinners. Shit, them white babies born as sinners. A most unprecedented robbery. On June the 13th, 1865, Eva Jones, a former slave owner from Georgia, penned a letter to her mother-in-law in which she bemoaned emancipation. I suppose you have learned, she wrote, even in the more secluded portions of the country, that slavery is entirely abolished, a most unprecedented robbery and most unwise policy. That's the robbery called slavery is abolished. She feel like they done stole all their property and shit. Ugh. The end of slavery left Jones with a daunting task of reconstructing her life from a heap of ruins and ashes. For Jones, abolition was nothing short of a criminal act committed on such a grand scale that it would result in a joyless future of probable ignominy, poverty, and want. She believed that a life without slaves would be a life robbed of every blessing for her and similarly situated people living in the South. Ain't that some shit? Yes, honey. Ooh, all the robbery and theft and murder and that they had done. And her ass think that, slaves being freed and stuff was just the end of all her life. Her privilege, I guess. I don't know, her property. Jones was not alone in her thinking. Sure wasn't. As the Civil War came to a bloody close in the late spring of 1865, Ella Gertrude Thomas reflected deeply on how she would reckon with the economic impact of the conflict and its aftermath. Initially, she was optimistic. I am not the person to permit pecuniary loss to afflict me as long as I have health and energy, she wrote in her diary. Thomas recognized that emancipation would hurt her financially, but she also saw slavery as a burden, an encumbrance she was glad to rid herself of. As to the emancipation of the Negroes, while there is, of course, a natural dislike to the loss of so much property in my innermost soul, I cannot regret it. I always felt that there was a great responsibility. It is, in some degree, a great relief to have this feeling removed. It only took 4 weeks for her disposition to change. By June, she had come to heartily despise Yankees, Negroes, and everything connected with them. Over the next 4 months, the reality of Thomas's financial loss and its cataclysmic impact upon her way of life made her bitter. It shook her resolve and weakened her religious faith. Before the war, she and her husband had owned 90 slaves collectively, and she stood to inherit many more from her father's estate. Told you, white women got all the slaves. White men lost their mind almost, leaving from down south and stuff, honey, going and acting like they was some prestigious white man and stuff. They'll shine it up a little bit and stuff. Then when the white woman marry him and stuff and realize he ain't got shit, but he done lied to her and she married to him and he was trying to get her slaves and stuff. But honey, white women come up with a whole law that them slaves were solely theirs. The husband, the man couldn't do nothing with them slaves. Couldn't touch them, couldn't beat them, couldn't feed them, couldn't do nothing with them. Then was the wife's slave, the white woman's slave. Yep, they meant to keep their slaves. Sure, well, they caught on quick to that. And they started letting other white women know too. In case you got a no good ass man, white man, to bomb, he gonna waste your slaves away, get in debt. Then his debtors gonna come and get your slaves and shit. White women were like, no, they set up a whole law, honey, to fight for their slaves. We just read about it in the book. Slaves that they ass got when they were like 3 years old. Oh, my ancestors, yeah, they wasn't finna lose their slaves like that, honey. They were like ready to rip their ass apart about their slaves. So yeah, it was fucked up how it was and stuff, because they seen them as their property and stuff. That's why it said right here, she could never see her life without her slaves. At first she was like, oh, it's okay, I can do by the fruit of my hands and stuff. But honey, after them few days went by, oh honey, she was growling like a beast. She wanted her slaves back. I can see it in them and stuff. That's all I'm seeing is their true nature, I don't know what y'all be saying. Maybe I ain't reading too good. I don't never listen to my videos and stuff, but maybe I should see how I'm reading to y'all. Because I don't know if it's comprehending to y'all, but I be trying. So we just let's read. Yeah. And she stood to inherit many more from her father's estate. George Washington's wife, Martha, her ass came to him with 153 slaves. That was hers. Yes, honey. Oh, shit. But with abolition, she predicted that her family's state of affluence would devolve into one of comparative poverty. Thomas was particularly upset by the personal losses she would inevitably suffer as a consequence of emancipation. And don't you know, the Emancipation Proclamation was initially the Emancipation Declaration. I'm going to have to look that up. Yeah, if you find out, let us know. So far as I individually am concerned, she calculated, she was reduced to utter beggary, Utter beggary. That's what it said. For the $30,000 her father had given her when she married was invested in Negroes alone. Yep. So far as I individually am concerned, she calculated, she was reduced to utter beggary. For the $30,000 her father had given her when she married was invested in Negroes alone. Yeah, they put all their money and stuff into Negroes. They wanted to keep your ass forever. You, your baby, your baby's baby, your baby's baby's baby, your baby's 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 babies. White folks meant to have slaves forever. They put it in their will. Yeah. Who they slaves was going to. Because they seen you as property. So, yeah. It fucked a lot of them up. That's why the government had to pay them when they finally paid their ass reparations, because they were finna snap out again about it. But that little pacifier, it only did so much. White folks want black people back as slaves, in case y'all didn't know. Yep. This view of the case I did not at first take. It is difficult now to realize it. I did not know how intimately my faith in revelations and my faith in the institution of slavery had been woven together. Slavery was done away with, and my faith in God's holy book was terribly shaken. Many former slave-owning women found the realization of what a slaveless world would mean for them equally painful. Yeah, despite evidence to the contrary, many have been unwilling to believe that the government would simply do away with slavery. In the first 2 years of the war, the United States Congress had enacted laws that weakened the institution of slavery. And President Lincoln had further compromised slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation. As early as March 1864, slave owners confronted further evidence of slavery's vulnerability when Southern states began amending their constitutions to abolish slavery. See, at first it seemed, when we were reading last night, or maybe it was earlier today, and Lincoln kept saying that, he wasn't going to do away with slavery. He was going to, keep slavery and stuff and work around it and stuff, but it had to be where he had to do something. That's when his ass said, if I didn't have to free him, I wouldn't. Motherfucking ass, yeah. And but see, in the end, he had to. And that's when white folks lost it, because all the time he had been telling them that he wasn't going to end slavery, but he did. I don't know if that was in the previous chapter on this one or in another book where we had read about it stuff, but I was like, ain't that fucked up? Yeah, and that's why they killed his ass too. Yeah, because they had expected him to do what he said. Do not end slavery. Let us keep our slaves. But, he had to do it. And that's why he said, if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. I'm just saying, in my opinion. I'm just learning all of this too. But shit, I got my own opinion. I can think for myself. I don't mean it did sound disrespectful to the man and stuff, but shit, hell, that was the right thing to do. Hell, if he didn't have to do it, he wouldn't have did the right thing. That's what his ass said. So shit, don't tell me I got to be sympathetic with his ass and stuff. Because hell, if he didn't have to do it, your ass would still be slaves. Possibly. I don't know. You don't know either. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned here, I want to know, do the ass got a time limit on slavery or something? Hell, they trying to get your kids back out in the field now, talking about 14-year-olds work overnight. Because all the immigrants, gone and stuff, scared to go to work and stuff. So they looking for somebody to work. And they talking about 14-year-olds. I think it was in California somewhere. I don't know where the hell they talking about getting your 14-year-old son to go work overnight in some fields and shit, in some warehouses and stuff. Ooh, don't even make no sense, honey. Don't fall for that shit. I'm just saying, Black America. I know you need some money here. You better go braid somebody's hair. Wash somebody's dishes. So, yeah. Shit, show somebody how to cook a meal. I'm just saying there's other ways. We ain't got to keep sacrificing ourselves for white America motherfucking ass. Because soon as they realize, yeah, we lost them during the Civil War. We lost our property. Now, with Trump and them talking about the segregation, with us talking about we fucking sick of y'all motherfucking asses, and you're making us lose our minds, so we don't want to have nothing else to do with you. They ass finna go off again. They think, oh no, we can't lose them again. At least they kept us around for a while. That's how they gonna look at it. But they gonna be like, but the loss. Do you understand what I'm saying? The loss. And Black Americans like, hell, we don't give a fuck. Hell, we don't want to have nothing to do with y'all asses and stuff. Yeah, white America gonna feel very hurt and deep about that and stuff. We ready to come out on the bag on y'all ass again. Yeah. That right there very well may be the catalyst that send white women to go back to white men. Because you know white men is out there rousing up, gearing themselves up and stuff since they went in that black community, you know, with their robes on and stuff. And yeah. So yeah, keep your eyes open. I'm just saying, keep your eyes on the prize. Yeah, I'm just saying, I ain't trying to scare y'all or nothing like that. I don't want you to be worried. Hell, just be wary. Just be wary. Just be suspicious. A little curious. Pay attention to your surroundings and stuff. Hell, and you know you done saw the same man 3 times in the last 2 hours or whatever. His ass probably following you. I'm just saying. Shit, everybody ain't our friend out here and shit, so don't act like it is. Yeah, I need new friends and stuff. No, you don't. No, you don't. Ain't nobody thinking about your ancestors like you is. Ain't nobody thinking about pro-life like you are. Black America? No, not like us. Shit, we ain't got no friends out there. Dr. John Henry Clark said we don't have no friends. Hell, your allies ain't even been honest and sincere with you. Hell, I didn't know your asses was out there still marching and all that stuff. So hoarse. And ain't done a damn thing for us. Threw some little pebbles on the ground and stuff. Ooh, just make me sick to my stomach. But anyway, they put all their money into black people, into slaves and stuff, and then they lost it all. This view of the case I did not at first take, and it's difficult now to realize it. I did not know how intimately my faith in revelations and my faith in the institution of slavery had been woven together. Slavery was done away with, and my faith in God's holy book was terribly shaken. Yeah, they were probably going off against God and everything for all the religious relationships that they have with him and stuff. So yeah, you know, it was real hard for white folks and stuff. They couldn't handle it. She wasn't the only one that felt like that. It was other white people that felt like that because they done had them slaves since they were little girls. They done been around them and stuff. They seen that as their wealth. That's their livelihood. You know, they wasn't human. They didn't see the black people as human and stuff. They just seen them as their property, you know, and yeah, all of them felt like that and stuff. So let's read. As early as March 1864, slave owners confronted further evidence of slavery's vulnerability when southern states began amending their constitutions to abolish slavery. Before the year ended, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Maryland had done so. In January and February of 1865, respectively, Missouri and Tennessee did the same. Perhaps slave-owning women held on to the hope of a Confederate victory because the Confederate government continued to act as though the South had a chance of winning the war. Only a month before Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox. Yeah, that's it. At Appomattox, Appomattox, a new word. Appomattox, Virginia, on April 9, 1865, the Confederate Congress passed an act to increase the military force of the Confederate States. Of the ways the Congress hoped to achieve this was by enlisting enslaved troops. The act further revealed the Confederate government's dogged commitment to the preservation of slavery. It called for the organization of slaves into companies, battalions, regiments, and brigades, but it explicitly refused to change the relation which the said slaves shall bear toward their owners, unless their owners or the states in which they live alter those relationships. These enlistment efforts never came to pass. Slave-owning women's knowledge of this news was far from complete or consistent across the South, but they soon began to experience the economic effects of abolition upon their lives. While a few were able to hold on to some of their antebellum wealth, despite the substantial post-bellum devaluation of their assets, Many faced poverty and starvation, couldn't even feed themselves. Some women responded by denying the people they once owned the rights and liberty and sought to coerce them to work as they had under slavery. Others adapted old management methods to accommodate new labor arrangements. Amid the jubilant screams and quick-footed two-steps of enslaved people who had just learned they was free, slave-owning women wept. They just cried and cried and cried. In April 1865, shortly after the Union forces infiltrated the community where Tiny Shaw, Tineyshw, where Tiny Shaw was enslaved, she overheard her mistress, Susie Page, Susy. It might be Susie. Yes, Susie Page crying because she was a widow woman and her crops was just starting to be planted. As Shaw guessed, the preference of federal troops brought home the economic realities that were to come. When Page laid eyes upon those Union soldiers, she knew that she was ruined. Shaw was just guessing about the source of her mistress's distress, but J.W. Terrell's mistress left no doubt about the precise cause of her grief. As her former slaves jumped up and hollered and danced, after they learned they were free, she mustered enough resolve through her tears to tell them that she hoped they would starve to death and she'd be glad because it ruined her to lose them. Although he was only 6 when the war ended, Tom Haynes remembered the day that his female owner, Becky Franks, approached his mother, Addie, and told her, "You is free this morning," and commenced crying. Yep, just started crying right there. Some women reacted even more strongly. Emma Hurley described the response of her master's mother on learning that the more than 200 slaves she owned in her own right was free. She sure did take on when they was all free. I remembers how she couldn't stay in the house. She just walked up and down out in the yard, carrying on, talking and a raving. Enslaved people were as alert as their owners to the economic changes that abolition would bring. On being told that she would soon be free, Betty Jones' grandmother ran 7 miles to her mistress's home, walked up to her, looked at her real hard and exclaimed, "I's free. Yes, I's free. Ain't gotta work for," what'd she say? "Ain't gotta work for you no more. You can't put me in your pocket now." Her mistress started boo-hooing and threw her apron over her face and ran in the house. As an enslaved person, Jones's grandmother had lived under the constant threat of sale, of being put in her mistress's pocket. That bitch. With slavery gone, her mistress would not only lose her investment in human property, she could no longer use the threat of the slave market against her former slaves, terrorizing them and stuff. They didn't know when or what and they couldn't stop them. Southern slave-owning women had existed in a world in which slavery and the ownership of human beings constituted core elements of their identities. Faced with the prospect of losing their slaves, some expressed the wish to die because they didn't have their slaves no more. Yep. 4 days after Lee's surrender, Lucy Rebecca Buck was almost tempted to envy poor Aunt Betty lying cold and still in death. Before the war, Polly Brown lived with her daughter and made her living by taking in sewing. But she was by no means poor. She owned at least 11 slaves, including Annie Wallace, and other property in Eggsbornville, Virginia. Yeah, Eggsbornville. Eggsbornville. Yep, Eggsbornville. It's all one word. Prosperity. Wallace later recalled that her mistress took the news of the Confederacy's surrender and emancipation particularly hard. She was so hurt that all the Negroes was going to be free. She was so mad that she just died. During the course of one slave-owning couple's conversation about the war to free the niggers, an enslaved woman overheard her mistress declare that she did not want to live to see the niggers free. When Ella Wilson's mistress laid out her plans for the enslaved people she owned to her husband, he replied, "Tain't no use. Tain't no use to do all them things, because the niggas will soon be free." Wilson's mistress exclaimed, "I'll be dead before it happens, I hope." Both mistresses got their wish. They died before the war ended. The deaths of these women were probably caused by illness or the trauma brought on by the war. But as formerly enslaved people remembered, their mistresses' deaths were linked directly to the loss of property, that is, enslaved people. That came with abolition. They couldn't stand it, to get up and take care of themselves and stuff. Death was not a practical option for most women who lost their slaves, but that didn't stop them from dwelling on the past situation and lamenting the things they could have done differently had they known that slavery was coming to an end. Failing to seize upon earlier opportunities to sell their slaves ranked high among many women's list of regrets. 3 years after the Civil War ended, Ella Gertrude Thomas had a conversation with her former slaves during which she told them that she would have sold them before the close of the war if she had had the opportunity to do so. Liza Jones's mistress refused at least one offer to sell her 8 slaves to a speculator, and may have refused others. But when the war was over, she bitterly regretted her choice, believing that her former slaves would leave her. Jones recalled her mistress telling them, "Now I could have sold you and had the money, and now you is going to leave." Her fears of abandonment were unfounded, however. Most of her former slaves chose to remain on her estate. Now, ain't that some shit? Now, see, to me, that's our very first division. Soon as we got free, and we ain't got to stay on the plantation no more, some of our asses want to stay. And black people should have told them, "Bring your motherfucking ass on here. We ain't going to stay on the damn plantation." But somebody should have said something. And to me, that was our first division right there. Even just staying around their asses. But yes, some of them stayed. Jones's mistress was fortunate in this regard because many other formerly enslaved people walked away from their mistresses without hesitation. At least when they were capable of doing so. Some of them were kidnapped. Yep, sure was. Some of them was kidnapped, honey, until the troops actually came and seen them and freed them. They wouldn't let them leave and stuff. When they were not bewailing their lack of foresight, former slave-owning women actively resisted the implementation of emancipation. Their motives were mixed. Grace Brown Elmore, for example, vehemently opposed emancipation because she did not think that African Americans possessed the intellectual or moral capacity to live on their own as free people. For Elmore, African Americans were the most inferior of the human race, far beneath the Indian or Hindu. They were poor, educated, stupid, lazy, self-indulgent, and you want to take your ass to heaven with them. So deficient did she consider them that she prophesied that they would simply cease to exist once the ties between master and slave were dissolved. She thought that once black people weren't around white folk no more, your ass would just dissolve and just be nothing. That's how they thought. You couldn't even think and care for yourself, sustain yourself. And the tables done turned, ain't it? As K. Wright Lewis had shown, the belief that African Americans would disappear after slavery was one of many vicious predictions that circulated among whites in the postbellum South. White folks were hoping, see, that's where the negative eye come from, them side eyes. White folks hoping and wish that them black people walking the West, I wish you just fall dead. Just wishing death on black people. Yes, that's their nature. That is their nature. And this right here still ain't got to 1919. This book still ain't got to 1919. This right here is just like, telling us about in slavery when white people got the slaves when they were little girls and stuff. And now it's telling us after slavery. But all of this horrific, inhumane, cannibalistic nature that they asses got that came after slavery. This was 1919. I'm just saying, for me. Shit, where the hell is all this rage at now? What, you trying to say they heal? They heal themselves? Hell, we ain't even had no damn therapy, no healing. Yeah, their ass is complacent. They are satiated. They pacified because, see, we ain't doing nothing. We done let their ass just forget about everything. You ain't got an answer for nothing. We done let them just whitewash and hide all of this, all of our greatness. So, yeah, they feel like, yeah, we can just sit here and just suck on our thumb. We ain't got to worry and stuff. Yeah, our secret is hidden. We got the upper hand still, see? So, yeah, they feel like, yeah, we can hold this rage in. But now, shit hitting the fan now. Yeah, you better watch out. You sure better, honey. You better tell your sons and daughters. If you know that's their friends and stuff, they better follow their first instinct. They get their ass over their house for the weekend at the cabin and down at the motherfucking hiking trail and shit like that. And everybody there, the aunties and the cousins and the uncles and shit and the old folks and stuff. Your baby ass the only one out there. Tell their ass if they get this feeling in their stomach that their ass better go. I don't give a damn if they got a wow. You better tell them they better get their ass that they go. Don't even say I'm leaving. Just tell, hey, get their ass gone. I'm just saying, shit, these folks is not what we thought they was. Hell, somebody done read these books. I'm just saying, in my opinion. Where the fuck is we at and stuff? So let's read. Other women felt entitled to formerly enslaved people's unpaid labor and questioned the authority of the federal government to rob them of it. Oh, honey, yes. Their resistance to abolition did not surprise Union officials such as Lieutenant Colonel Homer B. Sprague, Sprague, who expected such recalcitrance. To Sprague, the idea that a slave owner could wholeheartedly accept emancipation was preposterous. He considered it equally incredible that people would assume that a sincere believer in the rightfulness of slavery would look with any complacency upon the freedmen. They simply would not do it, Sprague argued, because they had made up their minds that if they cannot have the Negroes subject to them, they wish to have nothing to do with them at all. Using this same logic, white women sought out ways to control the bodies and labor of the people they once owned. White women did. Oh, yeah. So, see, there's your friend right there. That's Sabrina. Yeah. Yeah, that's Sabrina and them right there. Honey, they sought out ways so they can control the bodies and labor of the people they once owned, even after the federal government declared it illegal to do so. But see, ever since Kentucky, we read it in the book, Racial Violence in Kentucky, 1865. Ever since Kentucky told white people, y'all gonna have to stop lynching and dragging black people in the state of Kentucky because we need people to move here. And then, the Kentuckians didn't want to do it. I don't know how long they fought and resisted, but then they finally said, okay, we'll stop doing it publicly. But you, the state, the officials, the law officials and stuff, when a black man is accused of a crime, you must lynch him right now. We don't want a trial. He ain't even got to be identified as being the man who did the crime, because, white folks would just claiming crimes so that they can lynch black men and stuff. And at first, Kentucky was like, no, we're not going to do that. Because, everybody got a right to a trial. And then all of a sudden, Kentucky just said, okay, we'll do it. So Kentucky stopped Kentuckians, the people in Kentucky, the state of Kentucky and stuff. They stopped lynching black folks and just dragging them through the town and burning their bodies and roasting them and stuff. And then you see trees just hanging with black bodies and stuff. They stopped doing it like that. And, it was a big old rash, a big blow up of black men committing crimes and stuff, because white folk were just lying and stuff. White women and white men just making up lies because they needed to, release this thirst, this fiending for black blood and stuff. So they were just lying on black men. Then the police and stuff would go look for the black man and stuff. This is in racial violence in Kentucky, 1865 to 1904. This is how I see it when I read it. So they would get them and lock them up in jail and stuff, and then they would go call the hangman, and he would immediately hang them in public. That's what the government did. That's what the state of Kentucky did for white folks. And then the state of Kentucky, after a while, they said, "Look here, we can't keep hanging them in public. It don't look right. We can't keep hanging them in public. We want people to move here. We need people to move here. We want Kentucky to be safe. And people bring your families and your dogs and your businesses and build the state up." And so white people say, "Okay, well, just do it privately." Maybe the state said it, but we can do it privately. And then they charge tickets. They charge white folks to come and look at the lynchings privately. But white folk was standing all in trees and looking all in, probably knocking wood and bricks out of the wall and stuff, and making little holes so they can watch the lynchings if they didn't have the money. Just all kind of shit that they've always done to us. Like it was nothing. I mean, how you be walking sometime and you just kick an ant hill. Why you do that? Kill all them ants with no thought whatsoever. That's how white folks' mentality has been with black folks. That's all I see. I don't see no remorse and stuff. I'm just saying. So let's read though. And I read that using this same logic, white women sought out ways to control the bodies and labor of the people they once owned, even after the federal government declared it illegal to do so. To all outward appearances, their ideological and sentimental ties to the institution of slavery were the key factors influencing their decisions. But the pecuniary losses they had suffered often underlay their responses, emotional or otherwise. One way former slave-owning women held on to their former slaves was to keep them uninformed about their free status, didn't even tell them they were free. This proved to be an easier task in some parts of the South than in others, because they didn't get the message in some parts of the South and stuff. And then the troops had to go from plantation to plantation. That's what happened, yeah. Florida, Texas, western parts of Arkansas and Louisiana, eastern Mississippi, much of Alabama, southwestern Georgia, and the western sections of North and South Carolina remained relatively untouched by the physical destruction of the war and the presence of Union troops. And within 5 months of Lee's surrender, the Union forces that occupied the South were drastically reduced. At the war's height, 1 million Union soldiers occupied and fought in the South. By October 1865, a little over 200,000 remained, and 36% of them were African American. Together, the wartime absence of Union forces and their post-war withdrawal from significant portions of the South made it possible for slave-owning women to hold legally free African Americans in captivity. And them your white women right there, they still feel like you theirs. As long as they can keep you in close proximity. Yeah, honey, that's what this is all about. They might snap out on white men for even trying to bring back segregation. And then we like, oh, hell yeah, we done with y'all anyway. Shit, we don't want to have nothing to do with you. No, other than working with y'all ass and passing you while we out at the market. We don't want to have nothing else to do with you. They gonna feel some type of way about that and stuff. It's fucked up. And it's all for manipulation purposes. Ain't nobody ever been sincere. Hell, you don't know why the fuck they out there crying. Black people, please come and help us. We need you. We miss you. We really, truly love y'all. No, you don't. No, you don't. You ain't never been sincere with us for all the motherfucking love. You ain't taught your sons, your brothers, your husbands, your boyfriends, your nephews. You ain't taught nobody. The white woman ain't taught nobody how not to be racist. I mean, hell, who the hell you think out there in them robes now? Planning and plotting and shit They sons. Well, let's read. And within 5 months of Lee's surrender, the Union forces that occupied the South were drastically reduced. At the war's height, 1 million Union soldiers occupied and fought in the South. I know I went back a little further, but that's all right. By October 1865, a little over 200,000 remained, and 36% of them were African American. Together, the wartime absence of Union forces and their post-war withdrawal from significant portions of the South made it possible for slave-owning women to hold legally free African Americans in captivity. Violence by whites against blacks also intensified as Union troops evacuated the region. The federal government sought to address these kinds of issues when Congress passed an act that created the Freedmen's Bureau. And white folks stole every damn dime and dollar. I read it somewhere in one of them other books and stuff that black people started putting money into the Freedmen's Bureau all over the country. It's like $4 million. White folks took all of it. Yes, they did. Them motherfuckers. Some damn thieves. And then they ain't want to cut a check or nothing. Tell they motherfucking that don't you burn another damn dollar. Don't you melt down now currency coin. The Freedmen's Bureau, or the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands, that's what it stands for, was charged with the supervision and management of all abandoned lands and the control of all subjects relating to refugees and freedmen from rebel states. As a bureau within the War Department, it was responsible for providing provisions, clothing, and fuel, as the Secretary of War may deem needful for the immediate and temporary shelter and supply of destitute and suffering refugees and freedmen and their wives and children. I think they're coming. We'll let them come. It's taking them forever, though. That's who need to be in the flying cars. Oh, Anita Baker. I know, right? I'm going to get them songs and stuff because I need to de-stress sometimes myself. As a bureau within the War Department, it was responsible for providing provisions, clothing, and fuel, as the Secretary of War may deem needful for the immediate and temporary shelter and supply of destitute and suffering refugees and freedmen and their wives and children. That money was for black people. All of that money was for black people, for emergency and stuff. White folks took everything. The act that created the Freedmen's Bureau also authorized the president to set aside tracts of land with no more than 40 acres for the use of loyal refugees and freedmen within the sectionary states as shall have been abandoned. I think that was it section 52 or something like that? I remember reading it. I think I read it in Powernomics. I read a chapter or two in it. We're gonna read that book too. Yeah, two of the Freedmen's Bureau's more important functions after the Civil War were assisting former slave owners and formerly enslaved people in their transition from slave to free labor, and helping freed people resolve matters related to employer mistreatment and physical abuse. The Freedmen's Bureau, however, was designed to be a temporary entity, and it was unfunded and grossly understaffed. These factors made it close to impossible for the Bureau to carry out its mandate. When legally free African Americans lived beyond the reach of Union forces or Freedmen's Bureau agents, their female owners might refuse to tell them that they were free and continue to work them as they had before the war. Ben Lawson, for example, was the only slave whom Jane Brazier owned, Brazier. As a boy, Lawson worked 160 acres of Brazier's land alongside her son and the impoverished white laborers she hired. The nearest plantation was at least 15 or 20 miles away. and Lawson never knew the Civil War was even going on. After it ended, Brazier never told him that he was free, so Lawson kept working as he always had. Albert Todd suffered a similar fate, them some evil motherfuckers. Albert Towson suffered a similar fate. Todd was enslaved in Kentucky, and his mistress took him with her when she refugeed to Texas. Sometime afterward, Todd changed hands from one mistress to another. Though in his later recollection he was not explicit about the details, the transaction he described could have been an apprenticeship, which allowed his new mistress, Mrs. Gibbs, to keep him in conditions that mimicked slavery for 3 years after the federal government freed him. She also deprived him of the sustenance he needed to do the work she commanded, and she beat him when he tried to supplement his diet with food pilfered from her. In the end, Todd's sisters found him and took him away. They found a brother. Trying to keep the news about emancipation from enslaved people was not a foolproof strategy. To the chagrin, Chagrin, to the chagrin of many a slave owner, other white Southerners who may have had economic motives often passed this information along. Fanny Berry said that she was free a long time before I knew it. But one day the white woman to whom she had been hired out declared, Fanny, you are free. You are free, and I don't have to pay your master for you no more. You stay with me. Whether the woman told Berry she was free because she believed that keeping this information from her was unjust, or whether she did it in order to better position herself to negotiate directly with Berry for her labor is unclear. Notwithstanding, her choice to disclose the news to Berry betrayed the chasms that often existed between those who owned slaves and those who did not. Under favorable circumstances, women negotiated directly with freed parents when they sought to retain their children and their labor for a while longer. Freed parents persistently and vehemently fought to reconstitute their families in the post-war period, but they struggled financially. Few had the means to care for themselves, and even fewer could care for their children as well. In light of these circumstances, some freed mothers and fathers entrusted their children to their former mistresses in hope that they would receive proper care. After the war, Martha Orr candidly told James Barber's mother, Carolyn, that she was free and advised her to go into the local town and hire herself out for wages. She also suggested that Carolyn leave her children behind so that she herself could take care of them. And she didn't even take care of herself. Her reasoning was that without a husband, Carolyn would not be able to care for the children properly. And after some consideration, Carolyn left James and his siblings in her former owner's care. Carolyn Barber freed people after the war, but the realities of life for a free woman in the South were particularly bleak, especially if she had children. She undoubtedly weighed her options carefully when considering her former owner's proposition and realized that Martha Orr might be able to care for her children in a way that she could not at that time. James' reflections suggest that his mother made a wise choice. He related that Orr treated him and his siblings as though they were her own. They slept on a mattress in her bedroom, and she would tuck them in at night. He even called Orr mother well into his teenage years, something that proved so disagreeable to her kin that they called upon the sheriff to banish James from the town. He remained with his mistress for 9 years before they were able to persuade the sheriff to do so. Deeming themselves entitled to the bodies and labor of freed children and adolescents, former slave-owning women routinely exploited the chaotic familial circumstances that slavery, antebellum migration, the war, and refugeeing had brought about in order to extend their access to these young people's labor. Women like the mistresses who owned Ben Lawson, Albert Todd, and Fannie Berry often took advantage of parents' absences to coerce children and adolescents into exploitative labor arrangements. One Natchez, Tennessee woman, for example, called the freed child she still had in her possession her little Confederate nigger. She proudly told Whitelaw Reid, an Ohio journalist, politician, and diplomat who traveled through the South in the year following the war, that this young girl was the only one I had been able to keep. And I only have her because her parents haven't yet been able to coax her away. You see? When children were isolated from their parents or other African Americans more generally, it was easier for white women to manipulate and deceive them because they could prevent them from knowing about their changed status. These circumstances also made it possible to bind free children to them through apprenticeship laws. After the war, many southern states crafted such laws to contend in part with the large number of allegedly orphaned free children under the age of 18. What often remained unsaid and unrecognized was that many of these children were not orphans at all, but had been separated from their parents through their owners' estate divisions, interstate relocations, and sales. Parents tirelessly searched for their children and attempted to reconstruct their families for years after the war, but often they were unsuccessful. Even when they could find their children and provide for them, their former mistresses often appealed to the courts and military officials to leave the children with them for maternal reasons, relying usefully successfully on these officials' gendered and racist assumptions to help them maintain legal control over free children. Henry Walton's former mistress, Susan Walton Miller, seized the opportunity to have him bound to her before his father could return from the war. Miller petitioned the court to enforce Walton's apprenticeship and found the judge amenable. The court bound Walton to her until he was 21 years old. Her legal victory was short-lived, however. When Walton's father returned from the war, he sought nullification of the court's order and won. Oh, so that's where child protection services kind of stem from. White folks couldn't give up the kids. They had to have somebody. You let me keep the kids. I can take care of them. I'm just saying. Apprenticeship was probably what Annie Huff's owner also had in mind when she returned from a trip to Macon and called all the children together to tell them that even though they were free, they would have to remain with her until they were 21 years old. Many of the South's apprenticeship laws established periods of indenture that lasted throughout the child's adolescence. Boys served until they were 21 years old. White girls served until they were 18. Frequently against the wishes of their parents and often despite the mistress's inability to demonstrate her fitness to care for the children, freedmen's bureau agents and Southern courts often granted the mistress's requests. Beyond ignoring the often tragic reasons for a freed parent's absence and placing a white Southerner's needs for labor over a black parent's love, these decisions also dismissed bonds of kinship between children and extended family members who were capable of giving them safe and comfortable homes. To be sure, not all formerly enslaved adults sought to reclaim these children solely because they loved them. They often wanted additional laborers who could contribute to their households. Yep, they often wanted additional laborers who could contribute to their households. And so the former owners and the formerly owned fought a battle over freed children that was partially economic in scope. Even still, apprenticeship laws and decisions related to them invalidated the fictive and extended kinship ties that the institution of slavery necessitated. Individuals within Southern communities recognized the purpose of these laws and why former slave owners were seizing the opportunities that apprenticeship afforded them. Former slave owners wanted a bound labor force that was legally obligated to submit to their will, and the apprentice laws provided them with one way to secure it. That was the way that they could make it happen. But neighbors who witnessed the injustices they committed against their apprentices and the freed parents of these children might plead with officials in the name of humanity to stop what they considered the involuntary enslavement of freed children. A Southern Unionist, Thomas B. Davis, wrote to the judge of the Baltimore Criminal Court to report a woman who he believed was perpetrating gross violations of the apprenticeship law. The woman, whom Davis referred to as Ewell, Y-E-W-L, Ewell not only forced freed women off of her land, she also refused to give them their children. Furthermore, Ewell sought to have the freed children bound to her despite her lack of means to care for them or even herself. Women like Ewell cared little for the rights of African American parents or their desperate attempts to reconstitute their families. They were more concerned about their own financial well-being and stability. They continued to deny freed parents the chance to love and care for their children by claiming those children's labor for decades after slavery ended. But no matter how strongly former slave-owning women held on to African American children after emancipation, the children's kin were equally unwavering in their efforts to reclaim them. Many freed parents appealed to the Freedmen's Bureau for help when their attempts to take possession of their children failed. But others chose to take matters into their own hands and steal their loved ones back. In a period where legal slavery was dead, many freed people had to surreptitiously take their loved ones from women who had no legitimate legal or economic claim to them. When Rebecca Jane Grant was 15 years old, her uncle, Jose Jenkins, stole her from her mistress and took her to his home in Savannah, Georgia, approximately 50 miles away. Her father had also been searching for her, but when he finally located her mistress, he learned that the child was no longer there. He consulted with her grandfather, Isaac, who finally tracked Rebecca down and took her back to her father. Isaac and Rebecca walked 64 miles to the town where their family was finally able to reunite. Wow. Annie L. Burton's mother, who had run away during slavery, came back to her mistress's plantation after the war and demanded that the children be given up to her. Her mistress refused to hand them over and threatened to set the dogs on Burton's mother if she did not leave at once. Undaunted, she left, but waited nearby. At dinner time, she asked the boy to call her eldest daughter, Caroline, to the place where she was hiding. When Caroline arrived, she instructed her to go back to the plantation, get Annie and her younger brother Henry, and bring them to a specified location. Once she had done so, Annie's mother carried Henry, and Caroline loaded Annie onto her back. They ran as fast as they could to the small hut that Annie's mother had secured on a plantation some distance away. Discovering their absence, Annie's mistress directed her sons to find them, but when they did, Annie's mother refused to give her children back. She offered to go with them to the Yankee headquarters to find out if it was really true that all Negroes had been made free. Clearly, the young men knew that the government had liberated their mother's slaves because they left, and Annie and her family remained undisturbed. White folks been, we can't trust them. Don't you trust them? Jane Turner Censure, Censer, argues that white Southern women harbored fears about the social disorder that they believe newly freed people would bring about. Wow. Now they saying that black people gonna be the problem. Let me read it again though. Maybe I read it wrong. Jane Turner Censure argues that white Southern women harbored fears about the social disorder that they believe newly freed people would bring about, and that this and their long-standing dislike of the isolation of plantations encouraged them to move away from the countryside. Some women stayed put, however, and adapted to the new order on Southern farms and plantations. Reconstructing the South called for the implementation of a free labor system, and white women joined other former slave owners and planters who made contracts with former slave owners and agreed to compensate them for their labor. Some women adapted poorly to postbellum free labor systems, and they complained that free people were unwilling to work for them under the same conditions that had existed before the war. But others proved to be well prepared for their new role as employers, particularly in regard to negotiating terms of labor with freed people. Before the war, slave-owning women had routinely negotiated with enslaved people who hoped to hire themselves out so that they might purchase their freedom. They had also contracted with other whites who sought to hire their slaves. These were complex transactions that educated both white slave-owning women and the people they owned in the intricacies of labor negotiations. But now that the conditions under which these negotiations were conducted had changed so drastically, white women had to adapt their tactics accordingly. Before the Civil War, slave-owning women held the upper hand in labor transactions. When slaves wanted to hire themselves out so they could buy their freedom, their female owners could always renege on the agreement or later choose to simply pocket the wages they earned. Additionally, as slave owners, these women held legal title to the men, women, and the children that other white people hoped to hire. Their slave ownership granted them extraordinary leverage in pre-war hiring arrangements, but this changed when they negotiated with free laborers after the war. So although former slave-owning women did not lack the skills to negotiate labor agreements with freed people, emancipation required them to modify their pre-war strategies to accommodate the constraints which abolition imposed upon their ability to command enslaved people's labor. It is also important to recognize that while some women might not have been able to own human property before the war, they frequently negotiated with enslaved laborers and others for such labor when they needed it. This may have given them an advantage in the postbellum free labor market, because even though slave-owning women had negotiated with other white Southerners for the laborers they sought to hire, they had done so from positions of authority. Their knowledge of the hiring process had been limited, whereas non-slave owning women had negotiated with slave owners and the enslaved people they hired, particularly those whose owners allowed them to hire out their own time and negotiate directly with prospective employers. Thus, non-slave owning women gained valuable experience in negotiating and working directly with hired laborers, and with such knowledge would have been highly advantageous in the free labor market of the postbellum South. The abolition of slavery even the playing field, creating a market in which hires and former owners had to negotiate with prospective employees if they hoped to secure the labor that they needed. A white woman's earlier experiences with enslaved people and her pre-war financial circumstances often determined whether she would be successful in her labor negotiations. If she had been able to acquire experience negotiating with free and enslaved laborers, a former slave-owning woman was likely to make an easy transition from owner to employer. Mrs. Sally Rett Rhett, the woman who owned Sylvie Granville, Silvy Granville, Granville, is an example. She told her slaves that they were free at a time when they were in the middle of a crop. She entered into negotiations with them, and rather than leaving immediately, they agreed to help her make that crop in exchange for 1/3 of what they harvested. On rare occasions, former slave-owning women went beyond negotiating with employee, and compensating the freed people who cultivated their lands. Sometimes they might give their former slaves money and property. Frances Van Zandt, Zandt, gave her former slave Amy Van Dant Moore 2 acres of land when she freed her. The woman who owned Mrs. Charles Douthit, that's Douthit, 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 Mrs. Charles Douthit's mother, not only gave her land when slavery ended, she built her former slave a home. Mrs. Douthit's mother gave birth to her in that house. She grew up in it, and she passed the house on to her son, who occupied the home at the time of her interview with a WPA employee. Yep. Most white women, however, hope to extend their tenure as slave owners, and such women chose a vastly different course when they used exploitative and coercive business practices to maximize their products and deprive free African Americans of the compensation they deserve. They often embrace the argument Grace Brown Elmore made, that the Negro as a hireling will never answer. And like her scorned paid black labor, who would choose black in any capacity except he be held as a slave, and so bound to be obedient and faithful? As a Union soldier's mere suggestion that she would find white labor much cheaper and better, Mary M. Clinton rejected such a notion by proclaiming that she was a Southern woman, born and raised at the South, accustomed to the service of Negroes and liked them better. But as enslaved people left her estate and her extended family's households, their absences compelled Mary and the rest of the Clintons to try their luck with white and eventually freed African American labor. Much to Grace Elmore's apparent dismay, she found free white laborers a miserable disappointment. When she hired an Irish woman as a servant, she learned that the woman was incapable of performing any of her assigned tasks efficiently. But guess who could? It should come as no surprise then that even as these women pragmatically embraced free labor, they held fast to their sense of entitlement as former slave owners who could command enslaved people to labor tirelessly for them without pay. Former slave-owning women used coercive labor contracts in order to recreate the conditions that had characterized slavery. The labor contract Mary S. Blake devised was so exploitive that Colonel Samuel Thomas, the commander of the 64th U.S. Colored Infantry and Provost Marshal General Freedmen, who was charged with the care and support of formerly enslaved people in Tennessee, objected and refused to allow her to hire laborers under the terms she specified. She complained to a family friend, Adjutant General Lorenzo Thomas, who then wrote to the Freedmen's Bureau on her behalf. Placing all the blame on Colonel Thomas, the Adjutant General stated that despite the Colonel's objections, the freed people were perfectly satisfied and desired to remain with her, and they refused to go. The Colonel, he claimed, was meddling and interfering with a perfectly amicable relationship between an employer, and her employees. Colonel Thomas countered that the freed people he had consulted with did not even know the terms of their contracts. But after they found out, they had been upset about the disagreements they had signed. When the Colonel reviewed the contracts, he discovered that Blake's terms would not feed and clothe them and would have given them less than they received when they were slaves. In Colonel Thomas's estimation, Mrs. Blake wished to retain her service as she always had, and he refused to approve her contract. Yeah, these some long chapters right here. Oh my ancestors. Just like 7 more pages. Yeah. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I think we can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6.5. Yeah. Oh, we're going to do it. 6.5. Let me see where we at here. Other female employers contracted with freed people to cultivate and harvest the crops on their lands and then forced the employees off their property without any pay after they completed the work. When the former slave owner and planter, Sally V.B. Tabb, T-A-B-B, requested government assistance in forcibly removing her former slaves from her estate, she rationalized her decision by accusing them of failing to perform their required duties. They had refused to work hard, were insolent, and gave her all kinds of trouble. Under the circumstances, she could no longer provide for them or pay them for their subpar labor. Yet, when W.H. Bergfels, Bergfels, the Freedmen's Bureau Assistant Superintendent for Matthews County, Virginia, investigated the case, her allegations proved to be false. Furthermore, he discovered that she had not provided her freed workers with the implements that they needed for the job. Even her overseer agreed that the tools Tabb expected the workers to use were more than worn out 2 years ago. Yet, she expected these poor people to accomplish wonders with them. Bergfels concluded that Tabb was the oppressor and not the oppressed, as she would fain make it appear. Yeah, that's what it says. She would fain make it appear. F-A-I-N. The freed people who worked for former slave-owning women did not willingly accept the labor conditions their employers sought to impose. They appealed to Freedmen's Bureau agents, and they lodged their complaints against their employees in Freedmen's Court. On August 20th, 1865, Sealy Banks, S-C-A-L-Y, Sealy Banks claimed that Mrs. Estes, her employer and former owner, have refused to give her any payment save victuals and clothes, and is not certain about giving her the clothing. Banks further stated that she had worked for Mrs. Estes all her life, and her former mistress had given her no clothing for 3 years except one cotton dress, one yarn dress, shoes, and stockings. The Freedmen's Court ruled in Banks' favor, summoned Mrs. Estes to appear to answer the complaint, and demanded that she pay Banks $4 for 1 month's work and provide her with summer clothes. Daniel Baker, Frank Johnson, Lewis Wright, Thomas Terrell, T-E-R-R-Y-L, collectively filed a complaint against former slave owner Mary Cowherd, C-O-W-H-E-R-D, on August 28, 1865. She had not only refused to pay them for their work, she demanded that they continue to work for her with no compensation other than their board and clothing. If they was unwilling to accept these terms, then they must leave the plantation and never return. That's what it said. If they were unwilling to accept these terms, they must leave the plantation and never return. The Freedmen's Bureau directed her to settle with the men or explain why she would not do so. Beyond denying wages, food, and clothing, employers also made threats of violence, and these too led freed people who worked for them to file complaints. On the morning of August 27, 1865, Alfred Goffney, Goffney, approached his employer, Mrs. Strange, for wages she owed him for a month's labor. Strange got a pistol, pointed the weapon at him, and threatened to blow his brains out if he did not leave her land immediately. Escaping with his life, but not his wages, Goffney submitted his grievance to the Baruch. Strange eventually paid Goffney the $5.20 she owed him, but only after the freedmen's Baruch ordered her to do so. In a post-war climate characterized by white Southerners' unchecked violence against and murder of free people, it took enormous courage for these formerly enslaved men and women to take such legal actions. You see all the resilience our people done went through? We can't even begin to imagine, honey. This ain't even the tip of the iceberg. This is just like wiping over like that. We ain't even scratched the tip of it. Yeah, this is like just our 5th book. Well, let's read. The white women who were in a position to employ freed people on their lands could count themselves among the lucky ones. Many others did not share their good fortune. Women who had once owned slaves suddenly found themselves destitute, without property or any means of surviving. A formerly enslaved man named John Smith remembered such women. Some of the misses had nigger servants to bathe them, wash their feet, and fix their hair. When one nigger would wash the missus' feet, there would be another slave standing there with a towel to dry them for. Some of these misses, after the war, died poor. Before they died, they went from place to place, living on the charity of their friends. Even for women who did not live as extravagantly as this in pre-war times, the loss of their economic investment in slaves posed significant financial problems and difficulties. As many of these women faced poverty and destitution for the first time in their life, they tried to recreate their past lives with the labor of newly freed people. These women assumed that freed people would serve them in the same ways they had before the war, but freed people frequently disappointed their ass. Frequently disappointed them. One former slave owner came to Beaufort because she thought some of her ma's niggers might come to wait on her, but her mother's former slaves had different plans. Although they refused to work for her, they offered her food, money, and clothes. In the end, her circumstances compelled her to earn a living with her own hands and to become a dressmaker for the Negroes. Sometimes life became so difficult for former slave-owning women that they were reduced to beggary among the people they had once owned. 2 young women visited their father's former slaves, pleading their poverty and begging for help. These freed people gave them grits or potatoes, plates and spoons, and money. One enslaved woman even took the shoes from her own feet and gave them to her former mistress. The tables had officially turned. Former slave owners, they found themselves at the mercy of those they had once owned. After a lifetime of servitude and abuse, these freed people might have retaliated against their former owners, thereby legitimating slaveholders' concern about Negro rule. Instead, many of them demonstrated their humanity and gave their former mistresses what little bit they could reasonably spare. To be sure, the racial hostility and violence, as well as the psychological intimidation that characterized the region during and after the war, encouraged many freed people to be magnanimous toward their former owners. See, we the most forgiving people. The most forgiving. And white folks just took advantage of it. And we still the most forgiving right to this day. Yep. This is why everybody, the cosmos, the animal kingdom, everybody waiting on you to wake up, Black America, Black Africa, waiting on you to wake up. Yeah, you got this same common enemy. Yeah, you got this same common enemy. But let's read. But others behaved kindly toward former slave owners because they believed God was inflicting enough punishment upon white folks. What? Lillian Clark used that argument when she spoke to interviewer Susie R.C. Bird on October the 15th, 1937. The way white folks used to treat us, she said, God has whipped some of them worse than they beat us. That's a lie. That was a lie. They wasn't suffering nothing that they couldn't get up and do for their damn self. All they had to do was get their ass out there in their own damn field. Help each other to plow that field. The spectrum of economic loss among former slave-owning women was broad. A German seamstress whose only slave was emancipated as a consequence of the war lost the equivalent of what would have been a life savings for most. I worked with my needle. And 6 months before the war broke out, I bought Jane for $1,200 in gold. I had earned at the end of the needle. Wait a minute, let me read this again. I worked with my needle. And 6 months before the war broke out, I bought Jane for $1,200 in gold. I had earned at the end of the needle, but now she's free and I ain't a caring for that. But there's my hard work gone. The $1,200 that she paid for Jane would have the purchasing power of approximately $36,500 today. That $1,200 in gold. Today, y'all, it would be $36,500. At the other end of the spectrum, Irene Smith, who pleaded with the Secretary of the Treasury to protect her property during the war, saw her personal estate worth $678,000 in 1860 reduced to $70,000 a decade later. Even women who retained ownership of considerable amounts of land and other property after the Civil War continued to grapple with the pecuniary impact of federal emancipation policies and the financial losses that incurred because of them. For slave-owning women like Irene Smith, the ramifications struck a blow from which they never recovered. And they described these losses in their applications for presidential pardon and amnesty. That they couldn't make it without the slaves and stuff. Is that where the reparations come in at? Since I didn't even know they asked were giving reparations, but it said everybody was giving reparations. Even the folk that wasn't even here was giving reparations. When historians write about what white Southern women's experiences during the Civil War and after, they tend to foreground their human loss rather than the direct economic losses that these women suffered. Certainly, they grieved for lost family and friends, and they suffered from the loss of slaves their husbands and male kin owned. But the applications of former slave-owning women for pardon and amnesty make it clear that losing the enslaved people they owned in their own right was no small part of the trauma wrought by the war. And instead of saying that, the people were free, they see it like it's the worst thing. It's the worst thing for them. On May 29, 1865, President Andrew Johnson issued the first of 3 proclamations that granted former Confederates amnesty and pardons if they swore oaths of allegiance to the United States. Abraham Lincoln had issued 2 such proclamations during the war, but few Southerners had heeded his call to rejoin the Union. After all hope for a Confederate victory was lost, however, thousands of Southern men and women swore oaths of allegiance to the United States, and they submitted petitions for pardons and general amnesty. The Johnson administration kept the oath simple. Rebellious Southerners simply had to state the following: I, whatever the name is, do solemnly swear or affirm in the presence of Almighty God that I will henceforth faithfully support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Union of the States thereunder, and that I will, in like manner, abide by and faithfully support all laws and proclamations which have been made during the existing rebellion with reference to the emancipation of slaves. So help me God. As straightforward as the oath seemed, saying those words was far from simple for former slave-owning women such as Catherine Ann Edmondson, and meaning them was even more difficult. She couldn't do it. In Edmonston's opinion, the oath of loyalty was an act of humiliation that brought about hate, contempt, and rage in the breast of every true Southern. The only reason why so many Southerners swore the oath, she surmised, was to protect themselves against Yankee and Negro insolence and to preserve the remnant of their property. She made it clear that many who swore the oath did not mean it and had no intentions of keeping the promises they made. Who considers it binding? She asked. No one. Not one person whom I have heard speak of it, but laughs at and repudiates every obligation it imposes. It binds one no more than a promise at the pistols pointed to a highwayman. But white Southerners humbled themselves, swore their oaths, and applied for pardons and amnesty nonetheless. The federal government concluded that this simple oath was not enough for individuals who engaged in certain kinds of rebellion against the Union or for rebels who owned property valued at $20,000 or more. Those people had to apply directly to the president for amnesty and pardon, and he would determine whether they could reclaim their property. Over half of the petitioners who requested special pardons were accepted from the General Amnesty Proclamation because of their large property holdings. And for them, the restoration of their citizenship and property rights served as the ultimate goal for their petitions. But by 1867, Andrew Johnson had granted special pardons. Oh, I think it was Special Field 25. Yeah, I think it was Special Field 25. By 1867, Andrew Johnson had granted special pardons to more than 13,000 men and women who sympathized with or aided the rebellion. While men constituted the overwhelming majority of the petitioners, more than 400 married, single, and widowed women were among them. Yep. More than 400, honey, that they telling about. The smaller representation of women among special pardon requests was probably due to at least two factors. First, their particular acts of rebellion did not render them ineligible for the general pardon. Many of the women who applied for special pardons admitted to actively aiding in the rebellion, primarily by providing food, shelter, and other necessaries to Confederate soldiers. Second, they typically owned more enslaved people than land, and such property held no value after the war, which decreased the likelihood that they would need to request amnesty and pardon directly from Johnson. Petitioners were not obligated to describe their feelings about the war or to enumerate the financial losses that emancipation brought about. But many former slave-owning women chose to touch on such matters. Though some quarterly accepted the abolition of slavery as a fixed fact, their petitions often focused upon the enslaved people they had owned in their own right. The day that Andrew Johnson issued his proclamation, Carrie Lomax, Carrielomax, submitted her application for special pardon and amnesty. She wrote that the largest portion of her estate consisted of slaves now free, and where it had been practicable, her former slaves were employed by petition as freedmen under the regulations of the Freedmen's Bureau at Montgomery, Alabama. Eliza Gray wrote of equally devastating losses. In addition to the loss of property destroyed by the Army of the United States and taken and destroyed by the armies and officials of the so-called Confederate States, she owned 160 Negro slaves, property that held no value at the war's end. As Mary A. Hood of Meriwether County, Georgia, told the president, in the beginning of the late rebellion, the most valuable portion of my estate consisted in slaves. But since that time, in consequence of the emancipation of the slaves, the improvident, IMPROVIDENT, the improvident cultivation of my lands and the inability of her debtors to pay her, it had greatly diminished in value. Things were much worse for Sarah J. Firth of Beaufort, South Carolina, who informed the president that she was utterly destitute of all means of support because the federal government refused to allow her to regain possession of her property. Her request for pardon conveyed her sense of double victimization. She and the Southern people had lost the war, and now the government had implemented policies that punished the innocent women of this country as aiders in the rebellion later quelled. Writing from Longwood Plantation in Washington County, Mississippi, Irene Smith claimed that she too was guiltless. She had only remained in the South during the war because the enslaved people she owned would not have been able to survive without her. Her loyalty was to her slaves, not the Confederacy, she argued, and it was her duty to protect and defend a large number of persons. They were then her slaves, who were, for the time, depending on her for sustenance and support. Punishing women for their benevolence, this could not possibly be what the president intended. Are we done? We will be done once I read this right here and get there. We will be done with this chapter. Oh, my ancestors. I know we can do this. Hey, come on, let's finish this. For women like Catherine Fulton, confiscation policies were more than punishment. They were insults. Over the course of 1865 and into 1866, Fulton applied for pardoncy and amnesty twice, and she wrote several letters to North Carolina Governor Jonathan Worth and to the General O.H. Howard, the provost marshal who witnessed her oaths of allegiance. She pleaded for their assistance in reclaiming property she owned in Charleston, which had been seized and had fallen into the hands of the Freedmen's Bureau. It seemed hard, wrote Fulton, that she should be deprived of it, as she had already suffered severely by the Emancipation Act. An acquaintance, Commodore John A. Winslow, supported her application, attaching his own letter to appeal, in which he argued that Fulton had suffered a great extent by the loss of slaves, and no good purpose could be served by refusal of the only means of livelihood she has. He added that Mrs. Fulton, before the war, was worth more than $20,000, but with the loss of slaves, it is doubtful whether her property would reach that amount. With their slaves freed, the women who applied for pardons and amnesty could only hope to obtain assured protection of their rights to their remaining property and enjoy undisturbed the remnant of their estates. These women's petitions for pardons and amnesty reveal the complex roles former slave-owning women played throughout the South before the war, and women's diverse responses to the war's end and abolition. When Caroline Austin of Choctaw County, Alabama, applied for a special pardon, she told the president that she had been informed that the result of the late war between the United States and the Confederate States had been to deprive her of her slaves, and that she has nothing left. And that she has nothing left, her but a little stock in her lands. She was the only property owner in her household. Her husband had no property when she married him and had acquired none since their marriage. And if it wasn't for her having that law for her slave, she would have lost him too, because he was a loser. Yep. Since he entered into their marriage without property, the couple secured all her property. The couple secured all her property to her separate use by a marriage contract, duly proven and recorded in the probate court of Marengo County, Alabama, where the marriage took place. Furthermore, because Alabama law also secured her property to her separate use. Yep, to her separate use. Her slaves, her stocks, and her lands had been doubly secured. She applied to Johnston for amnesty and pardon so that she could access her livestock and her lands. Once she reclaimed her property, she could take care of her family as she had done before the war. Mary L. Carter also appealed to President Johnson for a pardon because her husband, Jesse Carter, had little property, and the property and estate owned by her was the sole source of income for the support and maintenance of her family. In spite of owning property worth $20,000 or more, however, she complained that her assets had been very much diminished by the war since she had lost about 35 slaves. Austin's and Carter's petitions make it clear that women who possessed the bulk of the slaves in their households and the majority of their families' wealth did not necessarily assume new roles during the war or after it was over. Rather, they continued to use their personal estates to help provide for their families, but they and not their husbands were the hardest hit economically by abolition. Their wartime losses made that task difficult, if not impossible, to carry out during Reconstruction. Women like Austin and Carter hoped to resume the positions that they held in their households before the war, not as their husbands' submissive dependents, but rather as women who took care of their families' material and financial needs as property owners in their own right. But see, they weren't taking care of nobody. They had the slaves taking care of them. They weren't taking care of nobody. What the fuck? Who took care of their family's material. Women like Austin and Carter hoped to resume the positions that they held in their households before the war, not as their husbands' submissive dependents, but rather as women who took care of their families' material and financial needs as property owners in their own right. For the married women who still possessed property worth at least $20,000, pardons and amnesty were all they needed to be restored to their rights of citizenship and of property. President Johnson routinely approved their requests. Former slave-owning women were thus enabled to restore to their lives some semblance of the familiar. With their landed estates back in their hands, those women began to build their new lives with all the money that they could get and stuff. That's why the asses can go out and buy your son that $350 and every damn iPhone they come out with, because they made sure that, hell, even after we ended slavery and stuff, we're going to make sure we're going to take care of white women, and we're going to make sure we don't let nobody know that it was white women that was over all of this, that was controlling everything, coming up with the ideas and shit. It was the white women that showed up with all these slaves. The white man didn't have it like that. He just hoped by some stroke of genius or luck, he could get control of her slaves. But see, some white women, they weren't having that shit. Quite a few of them did, but the ones that were strong-minded, these my slaves. Shit, that's who gonna rub my feet. That's who gonna push me to sleep and do what I need them to do. So they were like, well, I ain't losing my slaves for your ass. Yep. But yeah, that's it, y'all. We finished that chapter. I know we finished that chapter. And tomorrow we'll do the epilogue. Lost kindred, lost cause. They were her property. You know, it's not what we thought it was, Black America. We got some decisions to make here now. We're going to heal ourselves. You know, this is not just about earth, us being on earth and stuff. And you know, we're in a bad way here. But after earth, the afterlife, where you going to spend your afterlife at, you cannot tell me that even at this point, it ain't but 5 books, I know. But you cannot tell me that you have not been thinking about it. Why should you go spend your forevermore, your 12th and never, forever and ever and ever, your eternity with these same people right here? Why? How? How's your God gonna make it make sense to you that he's justifying you, that he's giving you justice? If he got your ass up there with the same ones, if he got them up there, our ancestors up there with the very ones, I don't care if they used that last piece of breath they had and said, forgive me, God, before they died. He forgave them. So for them to be up there too, and then you be up there, Black America, it don't make no sense. It's time for you to keep your Bible. I already told you, keep the white man's Bible, but now is the time for you to pick up Black people's Bible. This is our Bible. You got your one Jesus in this book right here. I know. You're up there in the Passion of the Christ. You're throwing up and fainting and stuff. This right here is your Black Jesus right now. Today. This ain't no joke. No, this ain't no joke. This ain't the fear monger you. This is to wake your ass up so you can start thinking for yourself. This is Jesus right here. This is your Jesus, Black America. This is your Jesus. Don't you forget it. Every time your ass start thinking about Jesus Christ and you see white Jesus with his blonde hair and his blue eyes and his pale skin and stuff and whatever miracles he is performing, you need to think about Willie Brown. That's what you need to do. You need to think about John Hartfield, Maurice Mays. You need to think about Sam Hope, little LQI. You need to think about Emmett Till. Can you think about Elias Clayton and Isaac McGee? Can they be your Jesus sometime? Black men, don't you see the wood? Don't you see the crosses that Willie was on? White folks had him up on the cross too. White folks had him on the cross. You see that damn wood right there? White folks had him up on the cross. So can we give some credit, some love, some forgiveness to our own Jesus instead of you giving it all to the Jesus that the white man done gave to you? Can you do that? Just a little bit of it. Can you fix your mind around your own people needing you? Because right now at this point, you done trapped everybody. You done trapped everybody. Right here on earth, ain't nobody had no justice. Ain't nobody got no justice right here on earth. Elias didn't get no justice. Isaac didn't get no justice. Sam Hope didn't get no justice. Ain't nobody got no justice on here on earth. So when you get your ass up in heaven with white folks, where your justice at there? Where your justice at? They're going to do you good. You going to be content when God tell you, well, sister, you made it to heaven. And your ass look over there and then you see the Klansmen, you see the brothers and the husband of Carol and Brian that killed Emmett Till. You see those that tortured Black people during Tulsa and Greenwood and Rosewood and Wilmington and the Omaha riot and stuff like that. You look across heaven and you see all of them and your ass is there too. Where the justice? Where the justice? You still ain't free. Because if you was, you would have flew off. You would have flew off. But see, you got us trapped. It's a mental thing. You got us trapped. Oh, face, no, it ain't like that in heaven. Everybody's safe and everybody's together. That's a lie. How the hell is you going to be safe in heaven if you ain't even safe here? What, the white folks get up there to heaven and all of a sudden they heal? I'm just saying. They heal. Why come it ain't a Black Jesus and a white God? I'm just saying. Hell, why come it ain't a Black God and a white God? Why you got to go to an all-white place again? And then don't forget in our first Bible, Red Summer, that we read on page 64, William Joseph Simmons, The man that created that revived the Ku Klux Klan in 1915. I read this the other night. I read it. You need to get this book. When you get this book, you need to mark this page too. It's on page 64. That man said that he formed the group, the Ku Klux Klan. He formed that group in response to a spiritual vision of robed horsemen galloping in the sky, followed by a map of the shape of the United States. So who else is up there galloping? I'm just asking you, who else is galloping? Which one? Who lying? Who lying about heaven? What is heaven really like for black people? Who lying? Somebody lying. You got to ask your pastor if you got a pastor. If I had one, I would ask him. I keep saying I'm going to call my uncle and stuff, but my cousin, I got a cousin that's a pastor. Yeah, and his ass don't know nothing either shit. His ass don't know nothing. And faith, what faith say now? Want to talk to your ass? Call me. Comment or something. I mean, I'm just asking. I'm just saying, for us, don't have us tortured here, trapped in this motherfucker. Then, when we cross over, we trapped up there forever and ever and ever, eternity, forevermore. Ain't that what y'all say? You're going to be in heaven forever with Jesus Christ. Your ass going to be behind them pearly white gates, and they going to clip your wings. Everybody's wings don't retract. Elias' wings retract. Emmett Till wings, their wings retracted. They went in like your cat claws. Soon as they got to heaven over there, soon as they crossed over, their wings retracted because they innocent. But your ass know better. Your ass got information at your fingertips today. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to think about what does all of this mean for us. What does all this mean for black people? Is that God really? Whatever his name is, I took mine out the box. I ain't got no name for no higher power, God, and that's just cosmic energy. It ain't even got a beginning. Ain't got no ending either. White folks don't fucking know. So yeah, your higher power getting you up there and stuff, but what's it like for you? Well, ain't nobody ever came back and told us, oh no, it ain't even no white folks in heaven. I mean, if that's what it is, tell me. Then I'll go to heaven. I'll go to heaven. If ain't no white people, but if it's some white people in heaven, hell the fuck no. I'm going to the 12th of never. I don't never want to see another white person. If I do in the afterlife and stuff, it better be a gray. It better be one of the grays. Not no more white people. I just can't. I can't. And I don't know if it needs to be them either. Because here somebody escaped out of heaven. And they up there in the ethers. That's why it's a war going on. A spiritual war going on in the ethers. Good versus evil. Same way it is down here. White folks motherfucking asses done escape him. Well, what is that? I thought it would be more people here in heaven and stuff. But see, they got to send them wings bypassing stuff. Cause my mama detoured from heaven. When she got on the other side, it's all that cotton. And my mama was like, oh shit. She was just holding right there. Her wings was just, she was looking around. Uncle Jamie Lee, I wanted to sue Becky. And my cousin Skeet came out. He was like, Anna Lou, come on, we going this way right here. And then they were like, yeah, Face was right. Yeah, we better go on down this way right here. They ain't looking too good over there. And so, yeah, my people ain't in motherfucking heaven. Nah, and the ones that was in heaven, the victims, I told them they was free. You could get up and leave. And as soon as I said that, y'all, their wings came out. Their wings came out, and they just flew off. You should have seen them. Everybody, honey. Emmett Till, everybody, honey, they wings, they took flight. They were just flying off and stuff into the afterlife. Now, we do got some of us that can't see our life without white folks. On earth or in heaven. They ask, I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here. I'm going to stay right here with white folks and stuff. You know, and it is what it is. But I'm just saying, give us the motherfucking option. Quit making us think that we got to believe everything that white folks said. Because y'all asses ain't read about, you ain't been reading and studying that a bastard can't even get into hell. You ain't been reading and studying that ye come out of Babylon, however it say it in the Bible, because I ain't read the Bible. Never. You ain't been studying them things. You ain't been studying Black America when it told your ass slaves obey your master. Don't question your master about why he got the big house and your ass got the little bitty cabin down there in the mud. You know, I'm just saying, you ain't studied what Dr. George DeGrasse told us when all of them motherfuckers, who was it, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, whoever the hell they was, it's in the video, was saying that Black America, you ain't even got no heart. You ain't got no soul. They didn't even think your ass was going to be in heaven. But now that's where you want to go. Oh, as long as I get to heaven. As long as I get to heaven. But I get it. I get it now. Because, see, we only know about heaven and hell. That's all we know about heaven and hell. Well, I'm here to tell you, Black America, honey, you can go to the afterlife if you want to. Yeah, white folks can't go to the afterlife. They ain't supposed to. The one that got away out of heaven and snuck to the afterlife. Let me see what's going on up here and stuff. Yeah, they up against his ass right now. Yep, it's a war going up there. A war going on because they ain't supposed to be up there. But somebody done got out and trying to see what the hell going on. Why Black people ain't here like we thought they would be? That's what the fuck is happening. So you got some thinking to do. I'm just saying. I'm just here to tell you that. You know, I'm about the last one, the last message that we gonna get. Everybody been telling us the truth, and everybody else been lying. Our people been telling us the truth. Everybody else been motherfucking lying. Everybody been lying, keeping you in this fallacy, this fantasy of going to heaven with white folks and stuff. They ass been reading these books. I guarantee you, families been reading these books. Probably all kind of people. Just not us. Everybody but our motherfucking ass. But ain't nobody even came and told you, Black America, the truth be told, you need to just get the hell away from white folks. I'm to the point that if we don't get it soon enough, it's going to have to be the dogs. The dog and the cats going to have to stand up on their hind legs and tell y'all motherfuckers, now y'all still don't know before y'all even wake up. I'm just saying, you know, just get yourself a different mindset. But yeah, we done. I'm finna let y'all go. And we like, you know, a few minutes early. Because, you know, I usually read so slow. We be like the 3 o'clock up in here and stuff. But yeah, we did good. I sure appreciate y'all patience and your presence. You know, I'm getting better. I do think if I read first, then when I read it to y'all, it'll be more smoothly. That's what I was thinking. Then I can read better and, you know, more fluidly and stuff because I see I done read. That's how when you got to do homework shit, you supposed to do it before. So that way when you read it in class and stuff, you know, you come off like a pro. But then, you know, that right there would take away some of the, you know, togetherness. Because we learn it together. You know, yeah, we learn it together. So I'll just probably leave it as is and stuff. But thank you so much for being here. I'm on shrooms and, Tabula Rasa, new subscriber. Well, thank you. If you here to heal Black people, we need all the help we can get to heal Black people, to wake our people up. We can't stay asleep no more. You can't go back to sleep, Black America. Don't let nobody lull you back to sleep, giving you their thoughts and stuff. Who was that? Dr. Deborah Blair said you don't know the truth until you decided what's your truth. So don't let nobody tell you your truth and stuff. Can't nobody tell me my truth, what this supposed to mean and stuff. Now, I know my truth. I know my truth. I'm just trying to get y'all to see that it's a whole narrative out here, a whole scenario, a whole kaleidoscope of knowledge. The good, the bad, the ugly, the savage, and the ravishness. We got to get it all if we're going to heal Black people. I got to. I can't just read us the good of all our creations and our contributions and stuff. That's not where our hurt stems from. I have to read the good, the bad, the ugly, the ravish, the savageness. All of this is part of a package if we want to heal us, because that's why our babies are so restless now. I seen a little girl tonight. I don't know what was moving faster, her feet or her hands, and she was sitting down. There wasn't no music playing and stuff to dance off of and stuff. And she was just so restless and stuff. And I was thinking, oh my ancestor, we got to give our babies better. We got to give them better. I mean, we just do from the food to what they watching, what they reading, what they taking in, and being on this social media and shit like that. And you got to fight them just to get them to pick up a book. So your ass going to have to be creative. Your ass going to have to be creative with your kids. You know your kids. And you know what you can get their attention on and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, get anything for your little boys and stuff. Look at that. Look at Nelson. Look at Nelson Mandela. Your little bitty baby, 9 months old, 3 months old, fall out over that phone when you take that phone from them. But I tell you one thing, honey, get you a good book and you stand up and start reading, honey, and you get into that book. Don't be setting your damn ass down talking about. Rotilla played barefoot on the grassy hills of Cornu. He fought boys with sticks. That ain't gonna do it. That is not gonna do it. Your ass gonna have to sit down and read. You're gonna have to get into it. The chief held counsel to warriors, medicine men, farmers, and laborers. The elder ones told stories of old Africa. Then you show that baby that book. Oh, they gonna be like, because there's something in the words and stuff and the way you give it to them. You know what I mean? I'm just saying you're going to have to be different. You know, you can't be all stoic and stuff with this. Just get their attention and stuff because our babies need a new mindset too. Yeah, that's who going to come up with the invention to get y'all asses out of them Tesla cars. Because I promise you, if I got to walk up to a Tesla car and jam my key into that damn door to open that door, I'm going to cuss y'all asses out. Because I done told you, be particular. All of this technology and stuff, Dr. John Henry Clark, I think it might have been Amos Wilson, said that this technology is not for us. Dr. Claude Anderson, somebody said it, and it ain't. So while you lollygagging and I'm gonna let Tesla ride me on down to the grocery store. Yeah, they expecting me. I ain't even got to get out. You sitting in the back seat. They just gonna open the door and give me the groceries. Yeah, and then one day your ass ain't gonna be able to get out of that motherfucker because you done got so normal. Don't normalize this new world order that's coming, Black America. You cannot normalize it. Other folks probably can. Other folks probably can go up and open that door as much as they want to on that Tesla car. But when the bitch lock up, your ass, Black people, ain't gonna be able to get out. You ain't. It's gonna be like the movie Left Behind, The World Left Behind. That I didn't really understand. I might look at it again. But you know them Tesla cars was crashing into each other. It's something about them damn Tesla cars. So just keep your asses out of them. I'm just saying, you know, for me. So yeah, we finna go, but you already know. Keep you some gratitude and a song in your heart. This is a lot. This is a lot to process. And every night, you know, we read through this shit. I just want y'all to know. Go home and, you know, go to bed, process it. You know, just rejuvenate yourself. It happened. We survived this. We survived this. So anything that's coming up, trust and believe. Have faith in your people that you know live. If white folks hadn't burnt their bodies, if white folks hadn't burnt Sam Holt's body and L.Q. Ivy's body, you could possibly go find their grave. But they did, so you can't. But you know they lived. You know they lived physically on this earth. That's all I'm saying. You know, you ain't got a question. Oh, did Sam Holt live? Did Emmett Till really live? Was he a real boy? Because you know he was. Now, as far as Jesus Christ, I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. As far as I could tell, I couldn't even find where they were buried at and stuff. Maybe today, if I did a research, I could. But I don't know. I'm just telling you what we do know is real. It's factual. It's historical. It's right here. That's all I'm saying, Black America. I love you to life and afterlife. Okay? I don't love you to death. I love you to life. You are me and I am you. When the cosmos manifested you, it could have been two stars, a black man and a black woman. And when it spread out and hit that soil and stuff, honey, that was the beginning. The cosmos just wanted to experience being a human. It just wanted to experience human life, you know, humanity. That's why you the first. That's why you are the first, the original. Adam and Eve is white people's original. That's white people's first beginning. That's the parent of they motherfucking asses. What is it? Neanderthals. That's not for us. We got two whole separate beginnings and stuff. Yeah, y'all, we ain't the same. We different. I love y'all. And peace and power to the people. Oh, hi, Ashby. Look at you. What'd you say? Mine will cry for hours if I take the phone or remote away. I've been considering starting chapter books with them. That's perfect. And if you do, let us know so we can do them too. Because we need to break out of this. You know, these people are putting together serious agendas and serious, manipulations on us and our minds, our children's minds. You know, yeah, we got to try to find some kind of way so we can break out of this. That's all I'm saying. But I love y'all and I thank y'all so much. And don't forget, if at any time when you hear, put your channel and stuff in the chat. If they'll let you do it, shit, put it in there. Because I would love to support my people. I think we should support us. And look, this is one of my cups that I got from today versus tomorrow. And yeah, I'm almost ready so we can do the drawing for our first two gifts, which are the Defiant Lawyers cups, which, you know, I ordered me one, but then I ordered two more for somebody. And I just didn't need the same cup. So we're gonna do a pulling. We're gonna do a name pulling of the members. These right here is my cups right here. And I got these from Lemonade. Yeah, Lemonade. I got these from Lemonade. But the two cups that we're gonna do the drawings on are the Defiant Lawyers Network. I think one is this color and another one might be yellow or red or something like that. But we're gonna do two drawings. We're gonna put all the members' names in there and stuff. Subscribers, however you do it. My daughter, somebody help me get it right and stuff. And we're going to do it live, though, so y'all see the names go in there and stuff and shake it up, and then we'll pull them out. And then I'll find a way, we'll get it mailed to you and stuff until I can find how to do these perks and stuff. The perks is okay because I can identify you, but I think it's very important to me, anyway, that we have significant, perks. And I don't mind. I'm a generous person, I think. Shit, white folks ain't the only one generous. I want all of us to have these. When you got your cup and you drinking your tea, you already know. I can go to the Defiant Lawyers Network and I can get on code. I can get on code there. That's all this means. When other people, who is Defiant Lawyers Network? Then you can tell sister about it. And before you know it, everybody, girl, did you see Augustus Court Bay? What the Defiant Lawyers was talking about today? Girl, yeah, I already got him subscribed. I got him on notification now, on standby. I'm just saying, we need things like that and stuff. It's good to be able to identify you. I love them badges and stuff. I really do. But I just, I like to do things that's going to be a little bit more significant for us, for my people. And it's going to be useful to us. That's all. Yeah, I just love y'all. And I thank y'all so much. So, yeah, let's get out of here 8 minutes early. And let's just go rejuvenate. And peace and power to the people.